to try my damnedest. I'm going to try really hard not to completely lose it on the brand of basketball that we all, if you watched it, had to witness last night, and especially in the first half with the Pacers. And listen, I have respect for you all giving me your basketball opinions, and hopefully you do for me. Just don't take it the wrong way if you constantly say, well, it's about rebounding, and it's about defense, and it's about coaching. My ass, it's not about any of those things. These guys can't score. These guys can't play offense anymore. They're bottom 10 now in offense. What have I told you? If the offense were to go away at all, even a little bit, they were going to be screwed. And not only has it gone away a little bit, but we're talking about a massive movement down to put them in a situation right now, 5 games below 500 at 9-14, and everybody wondering what the hell is going on with them. And until they fix it, until they get right offensively, that's what you're going to see, because they can't make up for it anyplace else. They're not going to get that much better defensively. However, a little bit of defensive recognition, right? If Cam Johnson has the ball and you got 2 dudes running out at Watford's brother who can't shoot a lick, now that's stupid, and that's recognition. I wish maybe you would recognize a little bit better. When Miles and Halliburton got there near the baseline and Miles went to the corner for his guy, and Halliburton thought that Miles was going to give a help side defensively, and then Halliburton's guy goes in for a layup. That was an absolute clown show. Now, better defensively with recognition, okay, but they're not going to be, in general, better because they don't have the capabilities. And, frankly, I think these guys play hard. I just think they stink. I think they play hard, but they stink. And then you compare to the success they had a year ago, and as I told you yesterday, they don't know what to do. They have no idea how to deal with this. You go literally from the penthouse to the outhouse to where they are right now in less than a year, and they and the coaching staff, I don't think, have the vaguest of ideas on what to try to do with this thing right now. And I'm just going to concentrate on the offensive end. They're not all of a sudden going to be a great rebounding team. What were they, -4 in rebounds last night to that crapwater team? That wasn't the reason why they lost. The reason why they lost is because they scored 35 stinking points in the first half, 17 points in the first quarter, 18 points in the second. I'm going to tell you, that may have been the worst half of basketball I have ever seen in my life. The second quarter, they not only just scored 18 points. Think about this. They turned the ball over 12 times. They were almost even with the points they scored with the turnovers they committed in the second quarter. And this is not like your garden variety, man. The Nets are really locking down defensively. They're really getting into you. They're not. They're half-assing it. They're just not very good at it. But you just kind of wait for the Pacers to make a mistake. Mathurin literally threw it to the official who was standing out of bounds. Just literally threw it over there with a nice chest pass who was standing out of bounds. You get these guys, Halliburton's jumping in the air before, that's nice when you make a nice pass, but when you do it now and it's a turnover, it's awful. It was the worst first half of basketball that I have seen. And in fact, I would disagree with a lot of you. A lot of you last night said, hey, I'm turning this off. I'm not going to give them my time with this. I did, but I did because, honestly, I wanted to see how bad it could get. I wanted to see what was next. And what are they going to do to blank this up next? It was incredible. And this wasn't a good team. This was an awful team. They have one dude, literally one dude. There's Chad over there that could score. One guy that could score. And then defensively, hell, half the time he shot wide open three-pointers. Not anybody in the general vicinity. That's about recognition. And I'm sure that they have a great deal of want to. They just have a lot more of can't right now. And that's not workable, that's not feasible, and that's not something that I think that you can tell that they have any sort of solution for. So I told you I wasn't going to go off. I guess slightly I did go off in the first 3.5 or 4 minutes of the show today, but it's a joke right now. It is, and it is 100% on them. And I could see what Rick Carlisle's up to in the post-game press conference. He was talking about you can see growth here. He's trying to play Mr. Positive and making sure he doesn't bury these guys with negativity right now. You can see Rick Carlisle at work, but, hell, I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, Rick Carlisle was talking about Benedict Mathurin, who, by the way, played maybe as bad as we've ever seen Benedict Mathurin play last night. And Rick, in that presser after the game, talked about how he made these two incredible plays after turning the ball over, and he got back on defense. Well, no blank, really? That's incredible. Way to go. He turned the ball over and got back on defense? Well, who would have thought? I mean, yeah, that's what's supposed to happen, right? You turn the ball over, and then you hustle your ass back on defense. And he was getting props for that what an incredible play that was. Now, didn't talk about all the other times when you turn it over and you stand there with your arms up waiting for a call or waiting for somebody to say, well, wait a minute, my bad. I didn't get on over to the basketball or whatever. But no, right now this is awful. Right now it is awful, and it is far beyond me just suggesting you need to drop the whole yes sirs thing. I mean, that's stupid too, but their brand of basketball right now is a joke. And that's what it was last night. You thought it couldn't get any worse? I know, the second of a back-to-back. Yeah, the schedule makers. They're mean. How can those schedule makers do that? They put you in Toronto and in Brooklyn. All right? Brooklyn is rebooting. Brooklyn is looking forward to a season 5 years from now. They don't give a crap. They don't. You got beat by a team that doesn't give a crap. They don't give a crap. They didn't want to win. That's what you got beat by last night. And the mean schedule makers, and I do get it. I mean, the coach is not going to come down hard right now. He's trying to take the delicate approach. I don't know if these guys are going to get the delicate approach, but it is more than reasonable to believe that they don't have a solution right now. And until they find a solution on how to score in general, I mean, hell, I'm even taking away my thoughts of pace, and getting up and down the floor and fast breaking and all that stuff a year ago. I just would like to see them, make a shot. That'd be nice. They scored 90 points. This team can't beat you and I scoring 90 points. And, in fact, you and I may be a tad bit better than that Nets team we saw last night. And they get the Bulls coming up on Friday. So it's going to be up to them. It is going to be up to them. And everybody's theory, it's great with the rebounding and the toughness, and it is great with the defense. All of these things were understandable that you'd want to see them get better, but you knew overwhelmingly they weren't going to get that much better. The one thing that could not happen, and even with these injuries, is such a drastic fall off offensively. And even with Neesmith out, with Nembhard missing time, with Shepard missing time, you're going to tell me offensively, even without those guys, they should look like that? No. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and hand out the excuses like that. I don't hand out the excuses for the Colts, so why am I going to sit here and hand out excuses for this? This is on them, and it's on them to figure this out. Like somebody last night sent me something and said, hey, I told you that this reboot was a bad idea. Well, wait a minute. This has nothing to do with the reboot. They couldn't make a pass in the second quarter. They couldn't dribble. They could not dribble, much less make a shot or stop anybody. This hasn't really nary a thing to do with a reboot. It has everything to do with the way these guys individually and collectively are playing right now. It is mammothly beneath them for whatever reason. And it seems like it's much more deeply rooted and certainly not anything that you would look as being cosmetic. So it's going to be up to them. Or we're going to be on them every day because I'm sorry, I didn't sign up for this crap. I just didn't. I didn't sign up to watch this. I love basketball. I don't like that. I mean, hell, I can 4 nights a week. That's what I see with me. And all these old guys, I don't need that. I don't need to sit at home on a Wednesday night and take in that second quarter of some of the worst basketball ever. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be completely dismissive of your theories because, honestly, there's truth to it. Don't get me wrong. But, again, it's a level of truth, or a layer in this case of truth, that we all knew would occur. But their biggest problem, and now their most glaring weakness, was a year ago their largest strength, their impressive strength. And what everybody loved when they watched them around the NBA, or basketball in general for that matter, is what they do offensively. And they can't do any of that right now. And it's them. They still have their core guys out there. Halliburton, Miles, Siakam, they're all still out there. And listen, I want to go off on Miles too. If I see, I never ever want to see Miles and Euro step again like that. Never again. When I heard Quinn mention that last night, all right, that was a hard drive to the basket with a little bit of force. It wasn't a Euro step like you're trying to be Tony Kukoc from 1995, okay? I don't want to see your Euro step. I want you to go hard. So I've got a little bit for everybody because everybody with this group right now deserves it. So we can hit that at 239-1070 if you so desire. I thought I'd get that out of the way because I do want to have some fun today live at Whiskey Business, Southport Road. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. He is back. Lambeau Field last week at this time to now being able to celebrate with me at Whiskey Business on Southport Road, our betting analyst, Brent Halverson. Better turn his mic on, Carl.
I tell you, John,
there you go, Carl.
Happy to be back. Thursdays, it was a little empty feeling without you last week, man.
Yes.
But
very empty. The big empty, as STP once upon a time sang so greatly.
It was the big empty. However, it was a balmy 20 degrees in Lambeau, and we had an outstanding Thanksgiving. And I tell you, you get warmed up quickly when you see those Packers come out shooting like they did. And that 20 degrees rose up to about 55 and sunny.
And you see that team from South Florida come in and going, ooh, it's way too cold.
We were.
That was like me on Saturday down in Bloomington. I go, I don't want any part of this. Wait a minute.
It definitely warm up when your team's doing well. And we were fortunate on that side of things. But we were right behind the Dolphin bench.
They didn't want any part of that, did they?
They did not want any part of it, man. They just kept standing by those heaters and wrapping themselves with those black jackets and. It was, hey, it was great that it was snowing.
Yeah.
It was just perfect Lambeau Field football is what it was. It was great. Came out with a W, and things were wonderful. Had a great Thanksgiving meal. Lisa's mom, and they made this great spread. So we started with some Bloody Marys at the early morning at 10 o'clock at Stadium View, right, to break in the day. And then we had some good Thanksgiving food and then rolled right into the game. So it was awesome. Missed you, though, man.
I missed you, too.
This last week, but we're back here. We're week 14.
Yes.
This is the start of, I think, from tonight on. This is, we have 5 weeks of football, John, before we're talking playoffs.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Right on the verge, too, in a weird week because the Colts are in a bye.
We've got 6 teams on a bye this week. I think this is the last week of byes coming in, Throw. So, we're without the Colts, without Baltimore, no Denver, no Houston, no Patriots, no Washington Commanders. There's some big boys out there. So, fantasy-wise, people will be struggling right now because you're going into trying to win to get into the playoffs for fantasy start next week. So, it's going to be interesting out there. We got some good stuff we'll dig through here at the top of the hour.
Yeah, it's always an interesting time of year for both, for the fantasy because now you're down the stretch to obviously those in-game situations. What do you think of the Colts come from behind, the fourth quarter situation with Anthony Richardson, the throw, and then the going for two?
I love the call. You're the GOAT or you're the greatest caller of all time, and they happen to pull that off. And they ran
Colts fans had understood that their defense had to stop you.
Had to. That's absolutely right. You had to go for it. I think it was a great call, and I think Anthony Richardson, man, that reboot that he got for those couple weeks where he had to kind of step back and watch his position be taken over. He came back in. He's rejuvenated. He looks a lot better. He's throwing the ball better. And he's running with a purpose again, So I'm excited to see they got a week to kind of freshen up, if you will, kind of knock off some of those mid-season injuries, and they'll get back in the saddle next week.
It's Brent Halverson, our betting analyst, right there. See, I'm feeling better already. I was all bummed out. I'm bummed out about the Pacers. I take that personally. I don't know why I take that so personally, but I do.
Yeah,
I take that because I was so excited about it. And now we got people turning it off.
Yeah.
And last year was so fun, and this sucks. And And again, the other thing is, it's not like, well, we're going to handle them delicately and you're going to rip on the Colts. No, we're equal opportunity criticizers around here. And even with Miles, watching Miles in the second half, I don't want to hear anything more or see anything more about any Euro steps or anything like that. If you go hard to the basket and you get blocked or you get an offensive foul and you create the contact, I'd much rather see that than the whole Euro thing that you look like the Johnny Marlin's trying to teach everybody down at Center Grove. So I'm okay with never, ever seeing that again, much like the half of basketball offensively that I had to and a lot of other people had to witness last night.
Yeah, they've definitely got a rocky start here. But the good thing, there's a lot of basketball left.
Yep.
There's a lot of basketball where you got to get that groove back, And I think we all have seen and know that.
Is it like Stella? Stella getting a groove back.
Getting a groove. That's absolutely right.
Yeah,
absolutely, that's
Stella got a groove back.
That's all you got to do. You got to get that groove, and you got to own it. So.
I don't know if they know how to. I don't know if there's anybody out there that'll help them get that groove back right now. I don't think they have a solution. I mentioned this. My analogy was Apollo 13. It was like, hey, the reason why we don't have a re-entry procedure is because they don't know how to do it, and I think that's why they haven't rectified a lot of this yet. And I know people are going to make excuses about injuries, but we're talking about core guys taking a beating and, scoring 35 points and a half. I don't care if it's the second of a back-to-back. They're playing the Nets. The Nets weren't locking down defensively. That was just all Pacers all the time, and they were just inept in that first half offensively. So,
yeah, I didn't have a chance to watch any of it.
You missed it.
I'm glad that I didn't after talking to you. So, hey, we're going to hold off for a little while longer.
Hey, let's get people down here to Whiskey Business on South Pole Road, though.
Whiskey
Business. It's not going to be about complaining today. This is going to be about fun.
Hey, one of two locations they have, as well as Smashed, which is an awesome burger joint in Irvington.
Okay.
But
I've heard about it.
Whiskey Business Southport here, and they got the one up in Pendleton Pike. We are on the South Side location today, and just a couple of great guys, have a great concept with a great staff, great food, great cocktails, and we do have some complimentary samples if you'd like to come join us.
Complimentary samples.
Love to get you one of those to try out and test the season's favorites right now.
Oh, we'll talk about those season's favorites too, because it is here now. It is Eggnog Central.
It is Eggnog Central. You know what? Gosh, John, I don't think I have it. I'm going to double check. I brought you a bottle. I have a bottle for you. I believe it's sitting on my counter.
You had me. I brought you a bottle.
So the newest of the eggnogs that we have. So Evan Williams is #1 selling eggnog in the world.
Diet eggnog, by the way.
Diet egg. Oh, that's right. You probably couldn't even have it, could you? You know what I can do? I can take some of it and sprinkle on some cottage cheese.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not like I'm holding back here. All right? I mean,
you pick and choose battles,
I pick and choose, and I juggle pretty well. So to stay around 1,000 calories a day.
Well, okay, then we'll just do a little bit of this, but it's really, really good. It is it's a peppermint chocolate eggnog, and I tell you what, man, it is outstanding. And it's the easiest, if you go into a holiday party and you want to make a nice, fun little drink, all you have to do is pour this over ice, get yourself a martini glass, and get you some crushed up candy cane around it, and then pour it right into it. And then you have a peppermint chocolate eggnog martini.
That's not bad at all,
That is a good way to start the holiday season.
All right, you do that with the Evan Williams eggnog.
You can do that with the regular eggnog or that peppermint chocolate. Peppermint chocolate, though, I'm telling you, it's brand new.
Do they have that here right now?
I don't believe so. It's one of those things. It's very. I don't want to say allocated. We only have so much that comes out a year, right? So it's pretty much it's out there at most of your liquor stores or your Kroger's, your grocery stores, things like that. CVS even. I was in last night and actually grabbed a couple bottles from there, just able to grab and go. So it's out there, it's available, and look at your favorite liquor store for it. Ask for it now because it will be gone here in the next couple of weeks.
That's Brent Halverson, our betting analyst, right there. We've got our Week 14 selections coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Alex Golden is going to join us, and I'll probably dial it down by 4:30 just a little bit, too. I had to get all that off my chest from last night. Mike Chappell's going to join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. But we're also, because it's just going to be you and I today doing the picks here, I think, Brent, I'm going to have you go through all the championship games coming up this weekend as well, including the Big Ten title game with Oregon and Penn State at Lucas Oil Stadium.
That's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a really good game, actually. I don't think it's going to be like, hey, this #1 Oregon team is going to come in and wax it out. I don't think it's going to happen. I actually think a little bit differently on that one. So we'll talk through that. And how about those Hoosiers, though? Putting up 66 on Purdue. Wasn't that just
I was almost there. I should have been there.
You were frozen in your chair somewhere, right?
The Smiley Bros, I think, wanted to go. And I got caught up at Crazy Horse and just couldn't get off the stool.
Ooh. Well, that's a good place to get caught up at.
It was a good spot in Bloomington to hang out.
Nice 70 degrees inside.
And it was cold and snowy outside, so I did not make it over there. But, yeah, putting up a robust 66 on the Boilermakers made a lot of days. And it looks like I don't know what your opinion is. It looks like they're absolutely solidified into that 12-team playoff. And the other thing regarding the 12-teamer, it has been even better. And I know people are going to say, well, IU's in it, local team's in it, so that makes it more exciting. And while that certainly is true, let's just face it, the 12-teamer has made it awesome. It has been awesome. This has been perfect. There's been the perfect amount of criticism, of dialogue, of back and forth with this as well. It's been great.
It really has, and I wish it would have happened a long time ago because it is what it is bringing now is it's just like the NFL. The NFL's got they've got the mold, they've got the blueprint, if you will, right, to how this should be going, and that's kind of what college has taken on. The thing that's going to be interesting is to see, you got these big names that Alabama just moved up in that top 12, but those big names that are sitting on the outskirts there, even though they've got 3 losses, and now you're talking some 1-loss, 2-loss teams. They're wanting to get those bigger schools in there just for that bigger name factor. It's going to be interesting to see how that all comes into play. I will tell you this: I'm glad. I think IU solidified. I really truly do.
Yeah.
If they would have if they would be playing in the championship game and lost badly, they would have been probably knocked out. So I think this is a good thing, right? Even though I think Penn State's going to be.
Well, you'd have to beat Ohio State to get there, though. I mean, I guess if you say that, what have you done for me lately? You think the recency analysis maybe would have broken them down and punched them out?
I do, and I think adding that second loss, right? That second loss, and then you kind of talk. Yeah. I don't know. It would have been interesting.
No, you might be right. Yeah, you're right about that. So
I was actually happy because it was trying to figure out who was going to go, and then I
I want to see IU and Notre Dame.
Who? That'd be awesome.
Anybody else want to see IU and Notre Dame? Because I want to see everybody that goes IU and Notre Dame. What do they call them? The reversible jackets. We have like 19 of those dudes at our station, I think, in our building. The reversible jackets. I want to see the reversible jackets have to make a decision.
Well, then you'll get the house divided shirts where it's half and half.
Is that what it is? Is that I think those are the reversible jackets. Yeah. Like, hey, I love Notre Dame. It's like Kevin Bowen, I think, is a reversible jacket. He loves Notre Dame. And it's true. He loves Notre Dame basketball. I think he's the only one that knows that exists. So, but he loves Notre Dame and attended IU. So that's why I want to see the reversible jacket dudes have to fight with a little bit of angst here.
Have to fight within their own head on who they're rooting for, right?
So what happens at some of these games as far as we're going to see this weekend in what could be being a part of that 12? Does anybody get punched out with a loss, with a bad loss? What are you looking at here?
I think Penn State's in that same conversation. If Penn State gets blown out by 50, they're out. I would say they're probably out. Just again, you're looking, they're adding a second loss. They get blown out, not even competitive. I don't think that's going to happen.
Is there enough on the back end kind of waiting at the doorstep, though, to solidify a move like that?
I think there is. I really do. Because I still think, and again, Alabama just moved up in that top 12. They were sitting on that 13. You had some 13, 14, 15, 16 teams right there that are all very well deserving of getting in. However, you got some of these little, again, I'll say little teams, little schools. They're not little. They're just not used to being in this situation. And that's your IUs, your Penn State even. I mean, it's been a few years since that stretch. So, I do. I think it's going to come down. You're still going to have the whole committee go through everything, and I think a lot of it does come into the school size, the backing, the power of it. I think that's going to come into play. You're going to have some what they call in the NCAA tournament in basketball. You got some bubble teams. You got some bubble teams right now. So
I think it's fun. I think that's one of the reasons why we love it. First of all, you kind of mix in what we love most about college basketball and put it in college football that is right behind the NFL as far as overall sports popularity. That's can't miss, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
And you do it to the best of your ability because you can't have, 64, 68 team field or anything like that, but you do it to your best ability to give folks what they love about March with what they love about college football. And college football obviously is second to the NFL as far as sports would be concerned and level of interest. So it makes all the sense in the world, Brent.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is, I'd love to see the evolution of it, right? Again, we kind of went back in the a couple of years ago when it was just what it was. Now we've got the playoff field set, tournament-wise set up. Last year was a little different. We've added those spots. Now we do have 12 teams. You got a great selection of 12 teams. I think it's going to make for a great college football playoffs.
That is Brent Halverson, our betting analyst right there. We've got Week 14 picks coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. He's going to rejoin coming up here on the other side, too. Me and you as well at 239-1070 coming up next. If you want to join us, talk about the Pacers and that debacle last night, where they are in the season or anything NFL, college football-wise. I watched some college hoop last night. There's something about, I know they lost, both 1 and 2, Kansas and Auburn lost last night. There's something about Auburn. They have incredibly talented, but they have a whole lot of crazy. And there's just something, I'm drawn to that just a little bit, I think. It's like, all right, something's going to happen. It may not be completely basketball. Something is going to happen. Not like diverting a flight stuff, but something is going to happen, and I just have to keep watching it. Auburn and Duke last night. Creighton knocks off number 1 Kansas last night. That's never a bad evening when the Jayhawks get beat. I absolutely love that, but we'll get to that coming up as well. 239-1070 is the number. The AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Become a AAA member today. In fact, we'll give you a chance to win a free 1-year membership to AAA once again over the course of the afternoon. Mike Chappell still to come. Alex Golden of Setting the Pace, bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Our Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila shots for week number 14 as well. Carl's the on-site engineer, and Carl's rocking a Montreal Expos throwback old school hoodie right here. That is badass. I didn't know if it was Carl or Warren Cromartie sitting next to me right here. But it was Carl. I wish it was Warren Cromartie, but it was Carl right here. He's rocking it. Nathaniel's back at the studio. I may have some IU tickets for you as well coming up here, too. That's that Monday game. I'll explain coming up a little bit later on. Whiskey Business, Southport Road's our location, South Side. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila shots Thursday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Morning, fellas. Somebody called and wanted me to stop saying Swebo. So I told him I'd stop saying Swebo. Now, I said it twice right there, but I had to make a point. But the morning guys have Carlisle on every Tuesday. Here's where I am with the whole, oh, woe is us. It's a different whistle this year. Too blankety blank bad. All right? Too bad. There's a different whistle. Everybody out there has to adjust to it. You're not entitled to anything. Adjust to it. And listen, I know nothing from nothing. I realize it. But I do think that the more and more you kind of whine and cry and mention this, that the more it sets in with your players. Oh, look what's going wrong with us. It's all about the... You already have an issue with Benedict Mathurin staying on one end half the time anyway when things aren't going well. I just think that helps the situation and not to your advantage either. So while I realize that you're going to fight for your guys on the floor and you can pick up technicals and all that, I would just go ahead and start moving away from, first of all, NBA officials. I had to watch, and I don't know why I did. I must be crazy. I think I watched a 2.5 minute long video with Scott Foster today, noted NBA official, on how they handle things. And that's about 2.5, 3 minutes I'll never get back right there. But I just think you have to move away from that. And that's why I don't feel bad about not handing out these convenient excuses. All right? We didn't want to hear it last year when the Knicks had them in the postseason. We didn't want to hear it last year when the Bucks had it in the postseason. It wasn't really about that. It was about the Pacers. The Pacers are good. We didn't want to hear it then, and I'll be damned if I want to hear it about the Pacers right now. There are just some things you have to fight through. Maybe there is good things that happen coming up on the other side. But all we have to go on right now is where they are, 5 games under 500, and literally the worst half of basketball I may have ever seen last night in Brooklyn. But I'd stop with all the excuses, and I see where Rick Carlisle is going after the game, and talking about he brought up Mathurin, who was awful, these outstanding plays, and I could understand because Mathurin was awful, and I guess you're backing him up. He brought up Jarris Walker, who was equally awful and has been awful and looks like a bust right now. Johnny Furphy was getting his clock. So I think you could see the strategy here. But in terms of dealing with a different varying in whistle compared to a year ago, there's not a damn thing you can do about it, and I would just shut up about it, honestly. If you want to get a technical out there because you're mad that there's contact that wasn't whistled, okay. But, I don't know if I'd be talking about the whole different and whistle situations anymore. Of course, what do I know, right? What do I know? But I will say this. I may not know anything, but it's not like these guys are tripping the light fantastic with answers right now anyway, are they? So maybe you do try anything. I mean, hell, I've been wanting to eliminate yes, sirs. That's how deep I'm going in this. I thought last night, honestly, was the lowest of the low when they started the Hack-a-Simmons strategy. I go, where are we here? Where are we? What world am I in? They're playing Hack-a-Simmons. And it didn't last very long. I think it was like one time because they ended up taking Ben Simmons out. But the Hack-a-Simmons, we're at yes, sirs, and the Hack-a-Simmons strategy. That's when you can tell the wheels have officially fallen off. Brent Halverson rejoins right now. Whiskey Business Southside Southport Road on what is the Larceny Bourbon Lager Saloon Azul Tequila Shots Week 14 Thursday.
Great spot to be. Look at this play. How nice is this, right? I mean, ever since these guys took this place over, and we were just talking about that with somebody right before the show started, how much it is just cleaned up and just so nice.
I love this place. I was just here like 2 weeks ago.
We were talking
I'm here
about
all the
that
time.
earlier.
They know me well here.
I know.
They say the guy eats cottage cheese all the time. That's him.
This is about. I see what you do with now, right? Because you're closer to your home bean.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. South Side with South Side right here.
This is right up your alley. Mine too. I love getting.
We get Harley D over there. We get Chad. Chad's in from Denver, Colorado, where it's probably warmer right now.
It was. Did you see it the other night? God, it was 40 or 49 degrees and just beautiful. What a football game!
I know last night that I thought I was going to end up getting blown to Oz. Anybody else? My goodness, the wind around here last night. And I want to give a shout out to anybody that works outside on a day like today. That's why you're a hell of a lot more of a person and a tough ass than I am, because it was brutal. If you were standing out there for 5 minutes or you had to work out there for 8 hours. So shout out to you if you worked outside today.
I'm going to give a shout out to the AAA guy, because I'll tell you how our morning started. John.
No.
So Sierra,
Matt, we got to get Matt here. Are you on AAA?
Yeah.
We got to get more. AAA abounds when Matt gets here.
I tell you, man, it was such a great service too, right? Because at 8 o'clock this morning, Sierra and Sage leave to go to school. Sierra's driving. Yep. And about 2 minutes after they left, she calls and said, "Hey, Mom, Dad, my tire says there's only 1 on it. Everything else is 29. Like, well, pull over. That means it's flat.
Yeah.
So she pulled over, and we had to go pick her up. Lisa took her to school. I sat there. AAA came, and I was sitting there thinking the same thing. It's 16 degrees out, and the last thing I wanted to do was get out there and roll underneath the ground and jack up the car.
Yeah.
Deal with the little donut tire.
They don't give you a professional jack either, do they?
No.
AAA does, but the car that you buy.
A professional jack.
Yeah. Anybody out there have a professional jack in their car? They give you this little kind of contraption that looks like a mousetrap.
But they were there in 30 minutes. got the donut on there. Got me. I had to run it to the tire shop and getting patched as we speak. So shout out. That was just not a good way to start the day. And again, big shout out to them coming out right away and laying in that 16-degree weather to make it all smooth.
Matt would love to hear your shout out to AAA, and I believe one of the Matts will show up here a little bit later on to a professional jack.
A professional jack.
You had a professional jack down in Seymour, right? I mean, kind of a hydraulic thing.
I did once in Vegas, but that was a little different story. So
exactly. All right, 239-1070. Brent Holverson here. I'm JMV Whiskey Business, Southside, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luno's Dual Tequila Shots. Nathaniel, is Ike there at 239-1070? Ike, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Ike.
I just wanted to tell you why the Pacers ain't winning right now.
Well, I'm ready to listen. Go ahead, Ike.
We don't have Jalen Smith. We don't have Isaiah Jackson. That's a whole lot of rebounds and points down in the paint. And we don't have Buddy Hield. We don't have Dougie McDermott. And we don't have Navarra. We had firepower that we don't have at all. All the people are gone. Plus, we don't have Neesmith, and we don't have the other guy that's injured right now. So you take all that firepower off the floor. How are we going to be able to run up and down the court?
My God, Ike, they scored 17 and 18 points in the first and second quarters last night. My goodness!
Look at all this firepower that's missing. Look at all this firepower.
Now I will give you. I wish, and I've always loved this. I wish they still had Buddy Hield, and I know it wasn't going to be able to work out. They weren't going to be able to work it out, but I wish Buddy Hield. And it's weird. I would love for somebody to break down at that moment, Ike. And this is probably something for Tony East and maybe even Alex Golden, who joins us at 4:30 today. Break down where they were. How did they sustain offensively even a year ago when they dealt Buddy Hield? I kind of just wonder it. And I know you get Siakam in here, and he's a higher volume scorer and more of a threat. But the whole free flow that we saw, so much of that was fun to watch with Buddy Hield. I know that's water under the bridge, and it doesn't matter right now, and it's sure as hell not leading to a solution. But I do miss Buddy Hield a great deal and his three-pointing prowess, and the fact that he just stays out there as well. I mean, dude never gets injured. Ike, anything else?
Yeah, what do we get for Jalen Smith? We just gave him away.
Yeah, well, they didn't think they needed anybody. They wanted to play. They had Siakam, then you have Isaiah Jackson, and he got injured. You bring in James Wiseman as, kind of a double backup. He gets injured. I'm not suggesting that injuries don't play a role here, Ike, but they have too much of their core remaining to look like that they have recently. Either last night in the second of a back-to-back or the night prior and how they looked in Toronto. They have too much of their core group there to look like that, to look that bad. That's my point.
We get Neesmith back, and we get the other guy that's hurt. We get them back at full strength. I think we'll be a little bit better. But, right now, we just missing too much firepower, my brother.
Ike, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Well, firepower They're missing firepower because they were missing shots last night. 17 points in the first quarter, 18 in the second. Now, you're going to say, well, they scored 35 in the third, but that's how it's been recently. You go back to Sunday in Memphis. I had not felt as good about this team as I did in that first quarter in Memphis, and then it all went to hell in a handbasket after that. That's what they've looked. They'll give you one good, strong quarter and then three really bad ones. And I know you're going to say, well, that's because they've lost this guy and these guys are injured. There's, again, way too much of their core that's still participating right now to look that bad, especially putting up 90 points. I thank you for the call. Brent Holverson rejoins, top of the hour. Our picks in Week 14. We call it Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Alex Golden setting the pace. Bottom of the four, Chapel's going to be here. I want to see you. What a great day to get out of work early. Come by here, and the samples flow as they normally do from Heaven Hill Distillery. Whiskey Business, Southport Road, Southside location on this Thursday. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Okay. Brent Alverson, JMV. We got our Week 14 picks coming up at you. We'd love to see you here, too. The flowing of samples will take place from Robert JMV. One thing that is glaringly apparent here is Matherin does not fit the offense of this team with Matherin and Siakam on the floor at the same time. The offense is so slow. I would agree with the offense being slow when they're both out there together. And sometimes it's hard to watch. Halliburton needs a shooter. Miles needs help at protecting the basket. Pacers need to make some changes, or this year is going to be lost. Love the show. That's from Rob. A couple of different times you saw last night, especially in the first half, Miles started out, I think, hitting every shot in the first half. But there were 3 or 4 times when he actually cut to the basket and didn't get the ball. And most of the time, the guy that occupied the ball at that time was Benedict Matherin. And I know they're going to say, well, that's what he has to grow into, and he does. He's trying to break his guy down, and there is not much look to pass right there. And then in the second half, actually the first half was so bad offensively, and Miles was the only guy really at the time that was knocking down shots. And then all that went away in the second half for him, and everybody else started making shots. They put up 35 in the third. But this team, and I think Robert's point right there is accurate, this team does not share the ball. It sticks constantly, and that is also a part of the offensive issue. It sticks. Guys try to make plays, and they dribble the air out of that thing for like 8 seconds, and we rarely, if ever, saw that a year ago. Now, that's what you're going to get when you trade for Pascal Siakam. But to have 2 dudes out there doing that at the same time can be rough. So I get your point, Robert. I do. Whiskey Business, Southside, Southport Road. Brent Halverson, our betting analyst, rejoins us right now. We've got our Week 14 picks coming up. Plus, you're going to give us your thoughts on all the championship games coming up this weekend in college football.
Absolutely. Good little slate we're talking. We're 6 teams light due to bye weeks in the NFL, but we're going to pick that up with some good championship NCAA football talk.
And you also start with an interesting matchup for you coming up tonight on Thursday Night Football. Are we going home to watch it, or are we going someplace else?
I'm still torn on that, John. I'm going to let that kind of come to me.
Torn.
I'm torn on it. So we're going to I'll tell you, this game is probably, it is the biggest game of the year because you're looking at an 11-1 Lions team and a 9-3 Packer team. And then you've got those Vikings that are still up there. They've pulled out the last couple of weeks pretty closely when they shouldn't have. They're sitting at 10-2. So that NFC North race is pretty tight as we speak. And Green Bay, if they're going to do anything to move on in the playoffs, this is a playoff game for them. They've got to go into Detroit. They've got to get the W, and they've got to show. Jordan Love's look great. And I tell you, I like the way that Detroit is. Their defense is banged up right now. So I like that, and I like the way that Jordan's been playing the last 2 weeks. He had been throwing the ball away a little bit to the wrong team. Before that, last 2 weeks, he's held on to it, and I look for a good game coming up tonight.
There you go, Brent Halverson right there. You can watch inside the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. And speaking of AAA, my man Matt is on the way. He's on the north side. He will be here a little bit later on. We'll give away some more AAA memberships and some IU basketball tickets as well when Matt gets here, so be ready for that. We'll do that on the air as well at 239-1070. Alex Golden, 4 o'clock hour. Chapel here after 5, but up next, Brent and I, our Week 14 picks and Brent's look at the college football championship game schedule this weekend as well. That and more coming up. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, Whiskey Business, Southside, Southport Road. Would love to see you here with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Carl is here with me. I'm John. Brent is here. And we're on the south side, Whiskey Business, Southport Road, with our Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots for week number 14. Again, no Colts, obviously, in a bye week. Their next matchup in Denver next week. The Broncos also in a bye week. I guess we should mention before we get into it, do a little scouting of the Broncos on Monday night at home against Cleveland. And we thought their defense is great. And in terms of playmaking ability, it was great. They made plays, a couple of pick sixes, maybe could have had another one late. But they gave up a lot of yards to Jameis Winston, a lot of yards to Jerry Jeudy. So you kind of wonder what the Colts could look like offensively if they get something going next week. But a little self-scout on Monday night with the Broncos and the Browns, Brent.
You know, it was pretty cool to see Jerry Jeudy, come in there and do what he did. It wasn't enough to get the W, though. And Jameis looked good other than throwing 3 balls to the wrong team, which has always been his Achilles heel. But it was a great game. I mean, it really was a great game. And we were talking the weather in Colorado was just beautiful. I'm looking at it going, Colorado? I'm just sitting in 20-degree weather up north in Green Bay, and they're sitting out there in 50-degree, beautiful night. But no, it was a great game to watch. And Denver's defense they were just too much. I mean, fortunately, I had Denver in one of my fantasy teams that got me like 25 points and secured a victory and a playoff spot. So talk a little fantasy on that. There had some implications there. But, yeah, Jerry Jeudy going back home in Denver. I mean, he just lit it up. He was taunting everybody, too. You saw him. He was giving the old,
Yeah, he was feeling good, but they couldn't cover him.
They couldn't
Nobody
cover him at
could
all.
stay on
They
him.
could not stay on him at all. And that was
Patrick Surtain on the other side, too. One of the better guys. The thing about Denver that stands out, and again, this is more for next week as well, but they definitely have playmaking ability. Nick Benito is a guy, linebacker. Cooper's another guy, linebacker, that makes plays. Surtain in the secondary makes plays. They, up until this weekend, led the NFL in sacks, so they can and will get after you. And for a team like the Colts, where you're a bit apprehensive and you're afraid they're going to make a mistake, the quarterback's going to make a mistake, this is the type of defense that can really run you ragged if you're not careful.
You really, I mean, and Benito, that dude, he's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he is a stud. He's built from that cloth of, all those old big playmakers, and he was out there and he was all over the field. And you're right, though. I mean, they're going to have their hands full, and honestly, Bo Nix looks great. He looks great for a rookie quarterback coming in. He's just got some poise to him. They're surprising, and I honestly think, I mean, they're got to be up for Coach of the Year. I mean,
and that's the thing I was going to say. Sean Payton can be a difference because he's Sean Payton too. That's the other thing.
Absolutely. I mean, look what he's done. I mean, they were projected to win 5 games this year.
Yeah,
I think the total was 4.5. They're well over that, and they're not stopping now. They're looking forward to the playoffs. So,
all right,
it'll be tough.
Brent Alverson right there. Remember, on the back end of this, we got our college football picks for you too on those championship games, including the Big Ten title game coming up on Saturday night. All a part of our Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Week 14 picks. Nathaniel, would you cue the band, please? Let's start it right now. Week 14, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, and it starts on a Thursday night with the Packers and the Lions. So a week between games with the Packers and the Lions. Hello, Nathaniel. We're going to play some music in the background right there, buddy? Oh, it's coming, he says. All right. Did you actually have to hire a real band here, or is it something in the computer right there that can play? Because I feel nude. And there are only certain places that I feel comfortable in feeling nude. This is not one of them. Thank you, Nathaniel. Thursday nighter, Packers and the Lions. You look at this game, the Lions have been fantastic this year. Dinged up, as Brent mentioned. And the Packers, I don't know if you could call them a top-notch, top-shelf team, but they just seem to end up getting it done when it's necessary. 3.5-point favorites of the Lions at Ford Field tonight. I'm going to lay the 3.5. Could be the Lions on a Thursday night. Brent?
That seems like it'd be the right thing to do. You're taking the hot team. They've won 10 in a row. They're sitting at 11-1. Big division rival right here. Green Bay Packers are sitting at 9-3. They're coming off 3 straight wins. And honestly, 2 back-to-back weeks by Jordan Love of seamless football where he hasn't thrown the ball away. That's been his Achilles heel a little bit throughout the season. Detroit beat Green Bay in Green Bay. I think it was 24-14 earlier in the year, right after Jordan Love. That's the game that he played after he had his injury. Shouldn't have played. I think we're going to see a little bit difference here. I mean, you got to think it's tough to go against the Detroit Lions. They're the highest scoring team in the NFL. They've got everything right. They've got the dual-headed running back situation, some great receivers. Jared Goff had an MVP-like season. However, not tonight, John. Give me the Green Bay Packers plus 3.5. I'm going to call an outright upset. Green Bay wins the game.
Thursday night football in Brent Holverson, surprisingly enough, is going with the Packers and the upset right there. But the Jets and the Dolphins, you saw the Dolphins last week. Didn't work out so well in the cold weather. They were at Lambeau Field. Back at home in South Florida, they are 5.5-point favorites at home against the Jets. The Jets sporadically can give you something, but for the most part, they're still one of the worst teams in the NFL. So go ahead and lay the point spread right there and give me the Dolphins at home, Brent.
Yeah, I think Miami's had a chance to get back, get warmed up, get some of that cold shaken off. They're going back to the Miami area, a little home, going to have some heat on their side. And you got the Jets, who are just a burning dumpster fire. So they're going to get down there and heat up a little bit. You know, the Jets came out. They looked pretty good. They were 21-7. They were up 21-7. Then they just gave that game away last week. They just don't have all the parts together. You know, what Rodgers is going to do after this year, who knows? What's his level of competition?
He just redid his home in Jersey, though, because he wants to stay.
Well, he might be staying there without going to play any games.
He could redo all of our homes, right?
I think he is, you know, and I look back, I'm fortunate now. I hated to see him go, but, man, it was the right time to get him out to go. Same with Aaron Jones, too. He's been fumbling for Minnesota. But, however, I think Miami's they're going to, like I said, they're heating up a little bit here. They're back home. Give me Miami Dolphins in a close one to the spread. 26-20. They get the cover, though, Miami.
Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna's will tequila shot, suite number 14, Brent Holverson, JMV. Whiskey Business, Southport Road. Love to have you here. A couple of survivors here. You mentioned the issues the Vikings can have with turning the football over with Aaron Jones and Sam Darnold for that matter. But really, both teams survive, and the Vikings are surviving and thriving compared to what we thought they were going to be. They are 5.5-point favorites at home against the Falcons. Lay the 5 and give me the favorites, the Vikings, coming up this weekend, Brent.
Man, Kirk Cousins, just another horrendous week out there, throwing 5 picks. I mean, that's just – he's going to right the ship a little bit. Miami's barely squeaking by, but they continue to win. They've won 5 in a row. Atlanta's lost 3 in a row. I think this is going to be a close one, but I do think Miami wins the game, so I'll take Miami, lay the 5.5, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope they get beat outright.
All right, the Giants, a team the Colts will see here down the stretch, just a disaster. And they may be the worst team in the NFL right now, too. They host the Saints. New Orleans, 4.5-point favorites on the road. I think that's an easy call considering the way the Giants are playing. Lay the 4.5 and give me the favorites on the road and the New Orleans Saints. Brent?
Yeah, this is an ugly game. This is one of those games that the reason we can bet on them, to watch them, it would be this reason right here, because this game is going to be ugly. I think it's going to be a close game. I think New Orleans wins the game. I don't think they cover this 4.5, though. I think Drew Lock gets out there and he does a little something. I think New Orleans wins 20-17. That means Giants plus 4.5 covers. Give me the Giants.
Here's something that won't make a lot of sense because the Eagles are playing their best football of the year, arguably the best football you see across the board in the NFL right now. I think they've won, 10 straight, something like that to this point? 8 straight is what it is. 12.5-point favorites at home against the Panthers. Now, normally that's way too big of a number, but I just kind of think of it this way. That's a couple of touchdowns. And I look at the Eagles being the way they're playing right now, a couple of touchdowns better than the Panthers when they're playing at home. So lay the 12.5. It's unusual for me to do that, but lay the 12.5 and give me the Eagles at home. Brent.
Yeah, I looked at this too, and Carolina is kind of a little sneaky team. Yeah. I mean, Young looks good these days, better. Thielen's back in action. Thielen's doing good. But 12.5, it is a big number. I kind of was back and forth on this game, but I ultimately think, the Eagles, you're right. 8 games in a row, they're just out there. They're 7th highest scoring team in the NFL. They've got it kind of kicking on all cylinders against the worst scoring team in the NFL. I think that's going to hold up, and I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. Lay the 12.5 as well, John. I'll call it 33-17 Eagles.
Week 14, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. I thought the Browns played for Kevin Stefanski about as hard as it was for me to pronounce Kevin Stefanski right there. About as hard as you could on Monday night, honestly. Jameis Winston, just too many mistakes and costly mistakes with the 2 pick sixes right there. that sidetracked them. However, they're playing hard really on both sides of the football. The Steelers have had a fantastic season to this point. 6.5-point favorites at home. However, I'm going to take that 6.5 and give me the Browns in that game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I am too, John. You know, we watched that Snow Globe Bowl a couple weeks back, and what a great game that was to watch, by the way. But Cleveland pulled that one out. I mean, Jameis Winston's looking good. He's throwing the ball. Again, you got to keep it in your team's hands and not the others, and that's his problem. But I think they're going to be able to hang tight here. I think, classic Steelers defense is going to hold tight. Steelers get the win. I don't think they cover, though. 6.5 is a little bit big for me. I'm going to call this one Steelers 27-24. Close one. That means the Browns cover plus 6.5.
Buccaneers are at home, 6.5-point favorites against the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to lay that 6.5 and give me Tampa Bay. Brent.
Tampa Bay looking pretty good. I mean, you got Baker Mayfield. He's out there doing his thing. He looks good over there. And Mike Evans is back. You know, that's a big key for him right there. Cade Otton didn't do a lot last week, but he's a key big set of hands down there. The Raiders are, again, they're 8 losses in a row. They've already packed it in. They're looking for that number 1 pick coming up. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30-20. That means they cover Tampa.
Larceny, Bourbon, Locks, Lunas will to keep the shots. Jaguars and Titans. Trevor Lawrence on IR today with the shoulder situation. The concussion was the reason. Now, obviously, with that hit over the weekend. So it's Mac Jones going to be rest of the way. I'm assuming rest of the way here, right? On the road in Nashville against the Titans. Tennessee, 3-point favorites. Lay the 3. Give me the Titans in Nashville. Brent?
Yeah, Will Levis, I think he's going to put up something here. The Jacksonville defense is pretty rugged. This is kind of one of those, again, ugly games, but I'm going to go ahead and take the home Titans 23-17, they cover the 3, Tennessee. 2
teams the Colts are going to see here down the stretch of the season. Yeah, think about that for a moment, too. After the Broncos, you get in the mix, the Jags, the Titans, and the Giants. You got to feel good about that if you could squeeze this out in Denver after the bye week. Anyway, that's for next week. Seahawks and Cardinals. I had ridden the Cardinals, and then they hosed me the week before last, and then got back to it. I think they covered last weekend on the road in Minnesota. They have been a monster for me all season long. 2.5-point underdogs at home.
They're a favorite.
I'm sorry. Check that. I'm sorry. Yes. Why did I say that? Cardinals 2.5-point favorites at home against the Seahawks. I'll lay the 2.5, and I'm going to get back on the Cardinal train here, Brent.
They did. They should have won that game. I was really disappointed they didn't because I needed the Vikings. Sorry, Tommy Sutton, but I needed the Vikings to take that L last week. Vikings came back to win the game. They did not cover. This game here, John, I mean, we've got Cardinals lost 2 in a row. They're sitting at 6-6. You got the Seahawks. They're won 3 in a row. They're at 7-5. I think they're moving in the better direction here. Late comeback last week against the Jets. I'm going to call for a Seattle Seahawk outright win, 26-23, but you're giving me 2.5 points. I'll take them.
My pick of the week last week, Brent, was the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football at home against San Francisco. That was easy money with an easy cover. I mean, hell, they were playing the backups basically at the beginning of the fourth quarter. 3.5-point favorites on the road at SoFi in L.A. against the Rams. I also think this is an easy call, even going across country without the weather home field advantage. Lay the 3.5 and give me Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, Josh, he actually looks like, Josh Allen looks like he is going to be the MVP. I mean, he's done it all. Last week, did he run for one? Yes. Did he throw for one? Yes. Did he catch one? Yes. You see that Amari Cooper?
Yes.
Kick back, flip back. Yep. That was a nice little basketball play right there. I love seeing that. I think I love this game too here, John. I think this is actually my larceny lock of the week. The Buffalo Bills.
Lock it up then.
Lay the 3.5.
Yes.
Buy the half point just to feel better about yourself on that field goal. Buffalo 31-20 over the Rams.
No more Matt Eberflus. The Bears on the road with the 49ers. And as they say, I guess something would have to give with the 49ers. They have a lot of talent. It's been dinged up, but certainly with Kyle Shanahan not at all living up to the lofty expectations in San Francisco. 4-point favorites over the Bears. I kind of wonder if maybe the Bears will be revitalized because clearly across the board they were not fans of Eberflus in that locker room. But I think this is more a revitalization for the Niners. Lay the 4. Give me San Fran coming up this weekend, Brent.
Yeah, the Bears, they've been covering a little bit. They're 6-4-1 against the number, and San Francisco's been struggling And now you've got, look what happened, depleted backfield. Yep. Christian McCaffrey out, Josh Mason out, both for the year. So that leads me to my first point, John, my Lunazul Tequila shot of the week in fantasy. Go out and get Isaac Garendo.
There you go.
Running back for the San Francisco 49ers.
A local product, by the way, too. Avon, Indiana.
That's right. Look for a huge game from him. And look for, I'm going to go ahead and take the San Francisco 49ers.
I love it.
For 26-20, Niners.
We're going with the local product right there, Brent. That is well done. How do you? Large City Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila shots for week number 14, Chargers and the Chiefs coming up this weekend as well. You know, every time I go against the Chargers, they burn me, and the Chiefs just always end up getting, you think, in these situations like this, end up getting by. They're talented, don't get me wrong. 4-point favorites at home. I'm going to go a little bit differently here. Normalcy would be me going with the Chiefs at home. I'm going to take the 4 points and give me Jim Harbaugh's Chargers on the road this weekend. Brent.
Not a bad call. Chargers are
like it.
8-4 against the spread, and you've got the Chiefs are 5-7 against the number. So they haven't been covering. They've been winning some really close games that we saw. They only lost to the Buffalo Bills. I think the Chiefs are going to get back right the ship here. I like the Chiefs in this one, John. Give me Kansas City. I'll lay the 4, 24-17 Chiefs.
I was thinking about this. Have we ever seen a team that has had a quarterback and a wide receiver just be incredible this season? Right? With Burrow and Chase?
Absolutely.
With Burrow and Chase and still have a record as bad as the Bengals. I mean, seriously, you look at their numbers, there's dominance in those numbers, yet their record is not at all a reflection of that. On the road, 5.5-point favorites at Dallas. I just think that the Bengals are going to be way too much what the Cowboys have just at the skill position alone. But one of these days, somebody's going to have to do some research and check on that because you have two of the better guys at each position right there, and it is not leading to wins. But give me the Bengals and lay that 5.5 on the road. Brent.
You're going against the red-hot Dallas Cowboys. They've won 2 games in a row, my friend.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. The Bengals, I mean, look what Burrow's done. Look what Chase has done. Chase has 13 TDs, I believe, is the number I've seen. I mean, he's just an all-out machine, you know. But the Dallas Cowboys, they've got something to do. They've got a lot to prove. They're working with some secondary guys out there, but they've got it done the last couple of weeks. I don't think they win this game, but I think they cover at home. And the number's 5.5. Give me Dallas Cowboys plus 5.5. Bengals win 31-27. How about that?
All right. Large City Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila shots. Brent Halverson for week number 14. Anything stand out to you?
Well, I mean, it all starts tonight. That's the big game for myself and
buddy.
for a lot of people. I mean, this is a playoff caliber game up in Detroit. So Packers up in Detroit's going to be a very, very interesting game. Could be a track meet, too. Total on that game sits at 51.5, and I see it being all about right around that number, John. I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. I think we've seen a lot of good stuff. I'm really excited to see the Packers, where they're playing the last couple weeks. They've just got to continue to win. They've got to go in and beat the division foe and come out with a W, get them right back in that mix. Still not out of the winning the conference yet, so we'll see what can happen.
All right, let's go to some of these conference games. Leave the band up playing. Would you, Nathaniel, here 8 o'clock tomorrow night? Number 20, UNLV. Number 10, Boise State, as it stands. Last check. Still in that top 12 right now. 4-point favorites, Boise State. That's the Mountain West Championship game. And you'll find it in Boise, Idaho. The Albertson Stadium. That's a grocery chain, I believe.
It is.
Out west. Albertson's correct. There
great,
you go.
Great chain.
What do you look and what do you like about that Mountain West title game?
You got the number 10 ranked Boise State playing against the 19th ranked UNLV. I think this is a Boise State game right here. I think Boise State lay the 4. Give me Boise State 37-29.
American Athletic. What a great season has been for Army and Navy. You can put them in there as well. But number 24 Army at 10-1. This is the American Athletic Championship against 9-3 Tulane. From West Point coming up on Friday night at 8 o'clock. Last check, Tulane 5-point favorites. What do you got?
You know what? This Army team, you know, they've lost one game. Like you said, they're sitting at ranked 24. Not going to have a chance at the playoff championship there. But I'm going to go ahead and take Army here. It could be a close game. I think 4.5's big, though. I think it's a field goal type game, 27-24, something like that. Give me Army. plus 4.5.
Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots for the College Football Championship games, noon on Saturday. Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium. That is the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. Number 16, Iowa State. Number 15, Arizona State. Last check, the Sun Devils, 2-point favorites. The over set at 49.5. How are we feeling about this one, Brent?
I think this will be another close game, but again, I mean, we're looking at Arizona State's a 2.5-point favorite. When it's this close of a game to me, I'm going to lean towards the dog here. I would take the Iowa State Cyclones plus 2.5. I think they win outright. Give me Iowa State.
4 o'clock in the afternoon of the SEC from Atlanta, Georgia, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Number 2, Texas. Number 5, Georgia. Man, Georgia had to survive. What was it, 5 overtimes against Georgia Tech last week. 10-2 are the Dogs. 11-1 are the Longhorns. Texas 2.5-point favorites. 49.5 is the over/under right there in that SEC championship game. What do you got, Brent?
Well, I believe it was 8 overtimes.
Was it 8?
It was
Did I say 5?
It was 8. It was tremendous. So, I mean, I couldn't even believe it.
Maybe I stopped at 5.
Well, you might have, because it just kept going.
Yes.
It's like the Energizer Bunny of college football. You know, this game here, I like Texas in this one. I think Texas is going to, they're laying 2.5. They're the second-ranked team in the country for a reason. I think they win 28-23. Give me the Longhorns.
All right, ACC title games in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Bank of America Stadium. Number 17, Clemson, I should say, number 8, SMU. Got some implications riding on this just beyond the ACC title coming up on Saturday night at 8 o'clock. What do you like in Dabo's team, and what do you like about those Mustangs of SMU?
You know, those Mustangs, I think, can outrun those Tigers. So let me give me the SMU Mustangs. Call this one 34-27. Lay the 2.5.
Yeah.
SMU, I like a lot.
Big Ten title game. Number 3, Penn State. Number 1, Oregon. Albert Breer yesterday suggesting that everything would be better off with the Big Ten being in Chicago. He's obviously misguided. 8 o'clock, they kick from Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday night. 11-1 Penn State, 12-0 and easily number 1 Oregon. 3.5-point favorites are the Ducks. That's 50.5 would be the total right here. What are we thinking about the Big Ten title game, Brent?
I think this is going to be the best game on the board Saturday, and it's going off the latest. So I think we're in for something. This game and that SMU Clemson game are going to be 2 great games. I think Oregon gets upset in this game, honestly. I think Penn State wins this on a last-second field goal. Penn State 26-25 over the Oregon Ducks, John, and that causes all kinds of havoc coming up.
Dylan Gabriel, is he the best quarterback in college football?
Yeah, with a question mark.
Yeah, with a question mark.
With a question mark.
So 24 TDs, 6 interceptions, and over 3,200 yards. Not bad.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. That's not
pretty
too bad.
Pretty damn good right there.
That is absolutely not too bad.
It is. There's our Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Week number 14 to the NFL and your college football championship games.
You going to that game, John?
On Friday. I am not going to that game. Are you? Why don't you go?
I am not. I'm going to be working. Well, you know, I could, I guess. I'm going to be working the Bourbon Expo down at the fairgrounds there.
Are you going out there to that?
We've got tables.
Yes.
There's 100 different tables and suppliers and brands out there. So, yeah, we'll be there. Myself, Romy, we'll be out.
I would love to go to that.
You want to go? Come
yeah,
come
I wouldn't mind to go.
Come join us. I'll get you.
Who wants to go? Let's all go out there together.
Let's go. It'll be fun.
Now, what does that bring in normally?
People-wise, I think about 5,000.
Does it really?
It's a lot of people. And you know what they do? They've got a lot of big allocated items that they will be raffling off. People come in there for, certain big brands, but they also have great
And you don't
deals.
want to say those big brands.
Yeah,
right
but they are. There's a lot of great brands that'll be there.
There's one brand in particular where I've seen like dudes fight.
It's crazy.
Over it.
It's crazy.
What is the deal with the fighting over that particular brand?
You know, it's one of those things you can't get, and there's such a small allocation. Just like every company's got allocated items. Such a hard thing to get, and it's got a big name. And it's everybody has their own preference. I don't prefer that one myself.
Yeah,
but, I know which one you're probably talking about.
Because we go with Heaven Hill Distillery Bottle and Bond, which that was my go-to over the weekend.
Look at
on
that.
Saturday down in Bloomington.
It kept you nice
Bottle
and warm.
oh my goodness, the Bottle and Bond goes down so smooth.
It does for
Are they
proof.
rocking Bottle and Bond here right now?
I believe they are. I believe they've got a lot of great
we
Heaven
got to
Hill
do some
brands
Bottle
here,
and
so
Bond together. I think
you know
right
what? We
here.
should. Let me go.
Why don't we do that little Bottle
Next break,
and Bond
I'll
for us
slip over
all?
there and see what we can't strum up for a couple samples.
Hey, well done. Anything else? Any thoughts about this weekend in general? Maybe we didn't get to. I love your shot of the week in fantasy football because we're all on the verge now of the postseason, and certainly it's an interesting week without the Colts, but at the same time, I think you got some ramifications floating around here, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned it. This is the week of it's going to make or break your fantasy season to get you in those playoffs and to continue on, hopefully win a little bit of coinage, if you will. But,
coinage, they say.
Coinage, yeah. At least to get the start of it. So you got fantasy implications coming in there. We've got a lot of big stuff on the slate for NFL. Again, we're 6 teams shy with 6 teams on bye. That goes away after this week, and it's full throttle for the NFL to bring in the last 4 weeks of NFL after this weekend.
It's Brent Holverson right there. We're going to do some Heaven Hill Distillery Bottle and Bond here at Whiskey Business. Southport Road's our location. Brent's going to rejoin coming up on the other side. I think Matt's going to be here from AAA Hoosier Motor Club, and we're going to give away some memberships and even some IU tickets as well with Matt coming up a little bit later on, so sit tight for that. But on the other side, setting the pace, and Alex Golden, what in the world took place in the first half last night, and what to make of such a disappointing start. 5 games under 500 right now for the Pacers on the road in Chicago, coming up tomorrow night, back at home on Sunday afternoon against the Charlotte Hornets. Alex and I converse on the other side. 239-1070 is your number if you want to jump on board. And inside the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, it's Brent, it's John, Whiskey Business, Southport Road with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Hang tight. Here across from me, Denver, Colorado, by way of Whiteland, Indiana. Whiskey Business, Southport Road. Carl's here. He's got a Dodger hat on and wearing a Montreal Expos hoodie. That's really weird. Who are you think you are, Rick Monday? What the hell is going on over there with Carl? On-site engineer Nathaniel's back in the studio. Tomorrow, we're going to be at the Slippery Noodle. It's me and Hagen. I believe that is going to be a Galero show coming up tomorrow. That's what I hear. So me, Hagen, Galero's coming up tomorrow, Slippery Noodle. That is a Bud Light, not exactly a Blue Friday, but with Bud Light tomorrow at the Slippery Noodle. And then on Sunday, Tom's Watch Bar downtown, that just opened up, and I'm going to go down there and hang out from 4:30 until 6:30 coming up on Sunday. I believe both Lindsay and Gina will join me down there for the hang. So if you guys want to come by and watch some NFL, I think the Pacers and the Hornets will be on too, and experience Tom's Watch Bar coming up on Sunday, 4:30 and 6 or until 6:30, I should say. That would be fantastic. You got Brent's mic up really quick. Hey, Brent, what do we got in the glass here, buddy?
So here, John, we didn't have any Heaven Hill 7-year-old bottle of wine, so I went with the next best thing. This is Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel.
Toasted Barrel.
I don't know that you've had this one.
So
yet,
I need to shoot this or
no,
sip it?
Just get you a nice little pull there.
Man, that's so terrific.
Isn't that good?
I feel like I'm hanging out here with Dean Martin just by doing this right here.
You look like Dean Martin. That's great,
Dean Martin.
Man.
That's awesome.
No, it is good. So it's Elijah Craig. It's Toasted Barrel, right? So after, we take it, and then we take it in a lightly toasted barrel to finish it off in for 6 months. And, man, it's such good flavor. I mean, it brings out, get a little bit of that kind of marshmallow finish on it, right? Isn't it good?
Good taste right there.
Cheers, man.
Cheers to you.
That.
Thank you, Brent. I appreciate that. Brent's going to rejoin in a second on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. No truth to the rumor here that I have to be drunk to talk to our next guest from Setting the Pace. It's Alex Golden who joins us now. Actually, I needed to be drunk last night in the first half watching that game, Alex, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, what was that, JMV? I mean, this team, they get worse and worse every time I watch them on the road. I don't understand how they continue to regress. And it's been really frustrating to watch. I think that fans are just losing interest in this team, and I can't blame them. Yeah. It's been painful to root for this Pacers team.
Alex, they don't have a solution. And I think I can tell, and I don't know if you caught this last night too, like Rick is handling this lightly and as positively as possible. And listen, I don't know if you have to be hardcore on it, but propping up Matherin, turning the ball over and then getting back twice, being great plays, I thought that was laughable, and he did that last night. Propping up Jarris Walker, who got his ass benched for Johnny Furphy, I thought that was laughable. So he's trying to maintain connection with his guys, and to me, they just don't have a solution for their issues right now. And at the top of the list of issues would be being able to score, being able to do anything offensively.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because that's kind of one of the things that's been frustrating to me is Rick constantly keeps saying, well, we just got to keep things positive. I'm thinking to myself, what is the point behind that, right? Like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because if you're keeping things positive and you're not getting any results, that would be insanity because it's, doing the same thing over and over with the result not changing.
I think that's how you can tell they don't know. They just don't know what to do. And I think that's why he's handling it that way. Or maybe it's just this new era of player that he's trying to keep this thing from splintering. But that's how he's handling it. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, ever since they've gotten Tyrese, it's kind of been their whole MO. It's just like super positive, laid back, chill. And I think sometimes that culture can be – it can work at times, but it's not working right now. And I think that this message that he's preaching, I'm not in the locker room, I don't know, but it looks like it's falling on deaf ears a little bit. The team's not responding to it. And like you said, they don't have a solution, right? Their best stretch over the last 3 weeks has been, 3 wins in a row at home that were not convincing against bottom feeders in the NBA. And, you had some really good stories there with Quentin Jackson, but it's kind of, it's been one of those things where it's more of like a flash in the pan. It's not a sustainable thing. And he's searching for somebody to be that fifth guy, but it's like the 4 that are your core out there together have not connected well. And so, I will say injuries do matter, but like the question I've been getting every single day is just like, what's going on with this team. And I said, if there was an answer out there for you, I think the Pacers would have figured it out by now. So I don't really know what the actual answer is, but I just think that they need something to kind of change the culture a little bit with how they're approaching things, because it has been abysmal to watch them play this season.
It's brutal, no doubt about that. Alex Golden from Setting the Pace on the Andy Moore Automotive Group line. Pacers back at it tomorrow night on the road in Chicago. I'll take it a step further with you. You mentioned the good basketball that has been fleeting that they have played, and they played bad teams here and got a 3-game win streak, as you had mentioned. I think the best basketball that I have seen them play, and certainly I love how they played in Dallas, and they did that for the most part, a lot of that game. But I thought what was most demonstrative of what we witnessed a year ago throughout the season was the first quarter in Memphis on Sunday. That's what I expect from them. And I honestly thought on that day, Alex, I thought that they may end up starting now to take off. And then they had 3 quarters of basically what we witnessed last night, or 3 quarters of what we witnessed in Toronto the night before. I mean, that's kind of – they can give you a quarter, and that was the best quarter I've seen them play in a while, but they have no sustainability. And I understand that a lot of things from last year because of the injuries, the one thing that stands out is they really swamped you with their bench last year. And you just can't do that with the bench they're throwing out there right now. But I just, with some of these teams, would rely more on their core, like last night or even the night before in Toronto, and the core hasn't brought it. So that's what's so overwhelmingly concerning to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. Like, I was shocked to see them put up 45 points in the first quarter against Memphis just a few days ago. They scored 35 points in the first half against Brooklyn yesterday. So it's just like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's like you never know what version of this team you're going to get, aside from knowing that they're going to underperform. And I think, for me, the biggest thing I've noticed is Rick has talked about the league becoming more physical, right? And I feel like the Pacers haven't really matched that level of physicality. I think this team was put together to kind of be more of the freedom of movement style of basketball. And now that the league has kind of shifted into more of a physical game, Rick has said it multiple times they have to adjust, but they haven't adjusted completely yet to that. So I think that's still like a work in progress. And it's not an excuse. It's just when you see this team get physical, that's when they have these comebacks in these games. Right now, fans are calling it the fake comeback. But you look at what Toronto, like how they came back in Toronto, cut the lead to 2. They tie it up with Brooklyn. And then all of a sudden, once they get themselves back in the game, you slowly start to see them take their foot off the gas. And it's a little bit perplexing because it's like, what just got you here? It was intense defense. It was physicality. It was flying up and down the floor, playing full court. And they just regress in the middle of the game. It's like they get comfortable that they've got back into the lead, or they just exert so much energy trying to get themselves back into the game. They don't have it there at the end. And I don't know how many times we've seen them in the first half get down by 15-plus points to the opponent, and so now they're just trying to claw their way back. So it's just a lot of misfortunes here, and I think that part of it is just like the fit of this roster that is currently out there playing. You mentioned the bench. I mean, at one point last night, I looked who was on the court. Jarris Walker, Johnny Furphy, and Enrique Freeman are out there as 3 of your 5. And nothing against those guys, but, when you're losing Isaiah Jackson, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, like, that's a big, big drop-off. And I think that that's playing a massive factor. And it's basically saying, like, hey, the Stars have to be great every night for the Pacers to win, or they're going to lose badly. And I think, the star or the core 4 have been so inconsistent this season that's why you're seeing the record reflect the way they've been playing.
Hey, Alex, you mentioned Rick Carlisle consistently mentioning the change in whistle. And I don't care if he goes at the officials during the game and gets teed up defending his guys, but I wish he would quiet down about it otherwise. I don't think you need to hear it with Kevin and Andy on Tuesday mornings. I don't think you need to hear it after games. I don't think you need to hear it any longer because I think this group soaks it up. I just do. I think they soak it up, and then you end up playing like that and never work your way or get close to working your way out of this. I wish defend your guys on the floor during the game. I understand that part of it with the officiating. But I think you got to stop it. Well, this has got to get used to this and the change in the whistle, and that's affected us. I would be quiet about that at this point.
Yeah, you don't want to come across as complaining about not being officiated fairly. And I've seen fans on social media say that a lot as well. Just like, well, we can't play physical defense because we'll get called for fouls. It's like, no, it's the Pacers are out of position when they're guarding. They can't guard anybody, and that has nothing to do with being physical. So, yeah, I mean, Carlisle, though, I think since Carlisle's been here, like, what's the thing that you always hear Carlisle say? Got to play with force, high compete level. And I don't know how many times I've heard him say post-game or pre-game the same thing over and over, and the players don't really respond. And I personally thought after Tyrese's interview with the media in Toronto, the way that he said, it's embarrassing the way that we're playing right now. We got to come out and play harder. There's a lot of teams out there that are playing hard, that are young, and, we're not matching that. We need to do better. And then they come out there and lay an egg in the first half against Brooklyn, who is not a good basketball team, and was out their best scorer, Cam Thomas. So it's like, I don't know how many breaks they're expecting to catch with the amount of guys they've played that have been out. I know they're dealing with their own stuff, but I agree, like, to a certain extent, I don't know how much Rick is complaining on the air when he's saying that, or if he's more so trying to send a message to his guys like, yeah, you guys aren't playing physical enough, and trying to tell the fan base, like, yeah, we know they got to play more physical, but they're not. I don't know how you can go out there and get the guys to play more physical if you're the coach, but I think that they have to do something to kind of raise that level of intensity. It's just too many moral victories right now. I just think that it's kind of falling on deaf ears, and at some point, this team, expectations are incredibly high compared to what they were last year, and they're not living up to them. And I think it kind of starts with Halliburton, and it just trickles down from there.
Setting the pace, you can find him there. It's Alex Golden on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Do you think with this team offensively that the ball sticks way too much with Siakam and Mathurin on the floor together?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, it's nothing against Mathurin or Siakam, but I think Mathurin's probably the worst at it. I think Siakam can do it at times, but I've seen Rick Carlisle call plays where he's like, let's get Siakam in the post and let's do a isolation post up for Siakam because their offense has been so stagnant and they have to kind of revert to that. But last night specifically, a good example was Benedict Mathurin. Shots not falling whatsoever. So what does he start doing? He starts trying to attack the basket. It kind of isn't in the flow of the offense. He's begging for foul calls. He's not getting them because I think the officials are kind of aware of what he's doing. He's baiting for fouls, and he's just, he's a young player too. I think he's still trying to figure things out. But in terms of the style the Pacers want to play and the style that Mathurin plays, it does not mesh well together. And Mathurin's trying so hard to kind of fit that and worry about being this extra passer, this kind of guy. I mean, I think his best role is suited off the bench as a sixth man with T.J. McConnell. And there's a reason why him and Halliburton, their numbers have not been good together on the floor. They just do not play well stylistically, and it does make you wonder what the long-term future of that duo is. But Mathurin has taken strides this year, but too often it's just like he's processing everything and he just can't make quick decisions. And that to me is what's slowing the offense down. And there's a reason why when McConnell checks into the game, the team starts playing better because quick decision, let's go, get to the basket, that kind of thing, get into the paint. They talked about it last year. Paint's great. And too many times, even Halliburton's at fault for this too, like not getting into the paint and not establishing a low post threat at all, just getting in there and kind of opening the floor. So that makes a big difference. And I also think the lack of three-point shooting with this team has been hurtful as well. Siakam was shooting great at the beginning of the season, but in terms of catch and shoot, you're really needing some three-point shooting. Quentin Jackson wasn't providing any of that. Jarris Walker has been up and down as a shooter. So that's why I think Furphy got the nod last night when they went to start the second half. It's like they just need somebody that understands the little things of basic basketball, and that's called cutting at the right times, and it's called hitting open shots, and I think that's why Johnny Furphy got the nod. But that's just kind of where they're at. They just don't have a lot of options right now.
Yeah, he's got the pod, setting the pace. Man, whenever you need me to waste about hour and a half or so at about midnight, let me know. I'm ready to go. All right, brother?
Yeah. All right, I appreciate it. I did enjoy your podcast, Tony East, Locked On Pacers. That was some good stuff.
And, thanks,
I was gonna ask you, are you making a road trip to Minnesota for the opening of the Chi-Chis?
Oh, man. I'm going to wait till that bad boy gets in Bloomington in the old school Eastland Plaza, and I'm going to call up the girl that I dated in high school, and we're going to go back there again, and I'm going to get the sampler platter. That's exactly what's going to happen right there. I got to wait till it gets to Bloomington. And then I'm turning back the clock.
All right. I mean, how soon is it supposed to be in Bloomington? Do we know?
Yeah, I don't know. It probably depends on how it works out in Minnesota to start, right? I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So
you might need to take a road trip to Minnesota to make sure it does well, so it'll get the blue.
Hell yes. I'm glad you recognize that, buddy. That's a staple back in the day. We're glad it's back.
Yeah, that and Don Pablo's, man. Don Pablo's needs to come back, okay? That was the place.
It was. Casa Gallardo was another one back in the 80s, too, that was alongside Chi-Chi's, I remember. Hey, Alex, I appreciate that. We'll do it again soon. Have a lot more time.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thanks, JMV.
Alex Golden of Setting the Pace on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Brent Halverson rejoins. I bet Brent back in the day rocked some Chi-Chi's, did he not?
Chi-Chi's, Don Pablo's. I mean, man.
The sampler platter back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get Brent back in here in a second. My man Matt's going to stop in here. We got AAA memberships for a year long to hand out a little bit later on, too. And Mike Chappell, top of the hour. Stay right there. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. It is a Thursday Southport Road location whiskey business with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Welcome back, everybody. Larry City Bourbon Locks, Luna's Ultra Give the Shots. Brent Holverson is here. Matt Goins is here from AAA. Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
We got some stuff to give away today, don't we?
Oh, we do.
Yeah, let's tease this thing right now. Giveaway stuff.
Well, courtside IU tickets.
Courtside IU tickets.
We've got it all.
We got it all. Maybe a little membership action coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. So listen to when that. Matt's going to hang. Brent's going to hang. And we're going to have some bourbon as well here, right?
Absolutely. Yes,
On the way.
On the way. It is coming to refresh. How about that?
Hey, join us if you're getting off work. Really easy to get here off of I-65, Whiskey Business, Southport Road. Matt and Brent rejoin. Mike Chappell, the other side. Stay right there on this busy Thursday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Oh, in Africa. Hey, by the way, hey, Carl, have you seen the Yacht Rock documentary on HBO yet?
No,
Oh, it's just exceptional stuff. Donald Fagen just goes off on the guy trying to interview him. It's great.
I need to watch it.
He tells him to blank off. No, go blank yourself is what he said.
But he didn't say blank.
No, he did not. He said the real deal right
Yeah.
there. That is Carl, the on-site engineer, who's got the Dodger hat on and the Montreal Expo logo. We've got both our good friend and betting analyst, Brent Halverson, and Matt Goins here as well. What's the first name you think of when you see that logo? Matt, what do you got over there? First name.
For me, it's the Expos, right?
Yep. What's the first name as far as player? Who do you think of immediately with that?
Andre Dawson.
Andre Dawson, bingo.
Boom. He's so good.
Rock Reigns. How about Tim Wallach? You could be Dave Cash.
Not Gary Carter?
Huh?
Not Gary Carter?
Gary Carter could be too.
Yeah.
It's almost like I think more of Gary Carter with the Mets than I do with the Expos right there. But maybe Dawson with the Cubs.
Cub, yeah.
And not with the Expos right there. Wallach and Reigns most certainly with Montreal.
Reigns.
Larry Walker. How about Larry Walker right there? You know how Delano DeShields, Marquise Grissom, they had all the great players. They were the farm system for the rest of Major League Baseball back then, and a tremendous farm system. And we were all lucky because at the time, Indy was the AAA farm team of Montreal, and you saw almost all of that talent. Pedro Martinez.
I had a substitute teacher that was on that minor league team. So
Who was that?
Oh, gee, we're going back to the fourth grade. So.
Yeah, he was on the minor league team. Was he?
Yeah, pitcher.
Whoa. Wow, man. That's awesome. Great logo, though. It'd be great if they would bring that back one of these days. But well done, Carl, right there. That's Brent. That's Matt. They rejoin in a second on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Good friend Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. Did you have surgery a couple of days ago?
Yeah, on Tuesday, I've been having trouble with these discs. Generally, it's kind of what put Shaq down. So they went in and fused a couple of vertebrae, and so I'll be down for 10 days or so.
I was reading what you were writing about that on X. It sounds like you need a cocktail, buddy. What do you think?
Well, I tell you, you have surgery like that, they give you the good drugs for a while. So, you know, drugs. When you've had surgery, drugs are good, and more drugs are better. So, we'll get through it.
Is it okay to ask? Are you on drugs right now on this show with us?
Well, I've got some pain pills, so I should fit in pretty well with you guys.
I think the last time I had a guest on drugs on this show was Dennis Quaid, the actor, I believe.
Oh.
Dennis Quaid, once upon a time, came on this show and was stoned out of his mind. True story.
I'm not stoned out of my mind. I'm stoned enough to where the back doesn't hurt too bad. So as long as I can get from here to the bathroom to the kitchen to upstairs, we're in good shape.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 Fox 59 with us. I was talking to Brent just a little bit ago, kind of sizing up the Broncos on Monday night, and I thought, Mike, it was a little bit weird because we were told this defense, and while playmaking ability defensively, Denver was really good, I guess what I wasn't ready for was them to give up so much. I mean, really, they weren't out there stopping anybody, with the exception of, turning interceptions into pick sixes. So that's one of the things I think that and the arm strength of Bo Nix and how his coach will turn him loose and Sean Payton more than just occasionally with that group. I can see why they've had such success this year.
Bo Nix has exceeded expectations, I guess, just because of the way they went into the season. But he won't get Rookie of the Year, but he'll get some votes. And what I thought was entertaining was Jameis Winston. He's like the old Forrest Gump box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. You're going to remember the Colts a couple of years ago. He throws for like 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He the only 30-30 guy. I remember Wilbur Wood was a 40-40 guy. No, was a 20-20 guy. 20 wins and 20 losses because he was out there every day. So that's going to be a tougher game than I think what everyone originally thought, because they've got their act together. And boy, when you get good play from the quarterback, and Jameis Winston without the interceptions, well, you can't have that. But Bo Nix is playing pretty well. And this is the one you can sort of warm up. This is the must-win. It's really hard to see these guys making the playoffs if they lose to Denver, although Denver's closing schedule is tough. The Colts is not. So maybe you lose this one, win out, and then, Denver has a tough – I mean, Denver could lose their last three. But this is one that they've got to have. They've got to have this one.
Here's Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. A little bit on drugs right here. That's all good because it makes it even more interesting on this Thursday on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. The one thing that concerns me more than anything else looking ahead to that matchup is Denver's defensive playmaking ability against the Colts offense, which we have seen has been mistake-ridden. And they got it, Mike, at three levels. They got it in the secondary with Surtain. They have it with, Benito. Nick, what's his name? Benito, right? You got that right? The linebacker?
Yes.
The linebacker. They're in the middle, along with Cooper. And then, they were leading the league in sacks as well. So they got three levels that really can create a lot of havoc for a Colts team that sometimes walks into it without that level of play defensively.
Well, and what we've seen from the Colts offense is when you take somebody away, it struggles. I'm not talking the quarterback. That's another story. But you take Josh Downs away, and it is really hard for these guys to operate. We know with Michael Pittman and his issues, I think it's probably what he's done this year. I hope people can look past the stats and say, yeah, it's a pretty good year with what he's dealing with. And I think it is. Stat-wise, no, but what he's given them. Pierce at the end of the season, I mean, we had these discussions in August about, boy, we sort of hope A.D. Mitchell, or we hope that Pierce can fend off A.D. Mitchell. Well, how's that worked out? Pierce is the one that's had the great season. This is kind of who he is. He's never going to be bulk, volume, but he's going to give you those big shots and what's he averaging, 22 yards a catch, whatever it is. That's who he is. Now, you can expand his game and get more of the intermediate stuff. But when you take guys away, take Jonathan Taylor away, and the run game does not work. I'd say take away a tight end and they don't work, but the tight ends are doing nothing. So they finally the only move they could make was to get Will Mallory out there, and he had one catch, but at least it made a difference. So
I thought that was I thought that was trapped. To be honest, I was surprised they didn't challenge that. Kind of looked like he trapped that catch too.
I don't disagree. Yeah. But when people say, "Well, what moves can they make going down the stretch to help?" That's the only one on offense you can do. Now you can get your offensive line healthy. I think there's a chance Kelly comes back. He's eligible for Denver, but we really didn't get into that with Shane Steichen on Monday. Braden Smith. Bears watching. He missed that game with personal reasons, and we don't know what it is because it's personal reasons. And I'm not even going to question that. Braden Smith is as loyal and as much of a competitor as anybody. So whatever his reason is, I trust it. I trust that. But they're starting to rely a little bit too much on the younger guys. They had a good game with Danny Pinner and Mark Lewinsky playing their first games of the season, which is really amazing. So, but you take one of the skill players away, and it really, really hurts them. And right now, I don't trust the defense. I just don't. 400 and some yards.
Are you going to trust Josh Downs is going to be good to go once they're back for Denver?
Sort of, but only based on how much he wants to play. And we don't know, again, the extent of the injury. Is it neither he nor Pittman looked like they were in good shape after they both came out with their shoulder dangling and Pitt went back in. I say yes on Downs only because I know how badly he wants to be out there. But so trust me, if he can't play, it's hurt. It's hurt. I thought they gave him a game or two, at least a game, coming back from the ankle sprain because it was early. There's none of that now. If a guy can play, 80%, 90%. If he can operate, he'll play. And if he can't, it'll tell you how significant the injury is.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Before I let you go here, and thanks for joining us. I know it's been a tough week for you trying to come back from this and maintaining, but I'm curious your thoughts on Richardson and what we have seen. Certainly not through the air, but some of that will be blamed on those he's throwing to and not catching it. But what he has done against the Jets and against the Patriots in late game situations, and what we have seen since he was rebooted as the starting quarterback.
I think it's amazing how all of a sudden they're using him as a runner, and until then they really hadn't been. And we've talked. I just think you can't bubble wrap him, and you've got to find out first. Again, bottom line, you've got to find out what you've got. At the end of the season, you've got to know, and part of that is knowing. Can he be this dual threat guy and have guys catch the ball, for crying out loud? But on his end, can he stay healthy? Can he run the offense the way you envisioned him being? If he gets hurt, then part of the answer is no, you can't trust it. But you got to know. And I think the way they're using him with 7 or 8 designed runs every game, I think you can protect yourself to some degree. And there was a play or two where he went down. He got the yardage and he went down, and that's what he needs to do. This is on him to understand when enough's enough, and don't try to get 3 extra yards like he did in the Pittsburgh game. So I'm encouraged, but he needs to do it again and again. He needs to finish strong. I think the passing game will come. He's never ever going to be a 65% passer. I don't care. It's like, remember Darius Haywood-Bay? He came here with the reputation they couldn't catch the ball. And he and Reggie Wayne worked forever after practice and training camp on the jugs gun. And he still couldn't catch the ball. I think if they can get Richardson to 55%, maybe sniff 60, but this 50% and lower, it's really hard to sustain. But, again, to your question on the running game, this is who he is. If you get 50, 60 yards a game from him and have Taylor – it's going to work in the long run, and that, to me, that's encouraging.
Hey, Mike, one more thing before I let you go, and I know it doesn't have to happen yet. This is not anything that is in a hurried situation, but right now, would you believe enough in him and his ability to extend him and give him that large amount of money in an extension, believing he's the guy for the long-term future? Are you buying that right now?
Richardson? Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. And you don't have to. What is it? After next season, you have to do the 5th year. Oh, I wouldn't. That's the thing is they can do the 5th-year option first. You know, we've seen some of these teams extend guys. Kyler Murray, I mean, really, I just don't trust him. But the important thing with Richardson is you don't have to make that decision. Now, it's funny. I remember at one point with Irsay, when you remember with Andrew Luck, he was going to be the first $250 million quarterback, and he wasn't wrong. And if Richardson gives you strong finish and then a strong next year, he's going to just back the Brinks truck up to his house, because that's what the market will say, and that's going to be a good problem to have. I mean, you would love to have it where a boy's going to cost us. Well, yeah, because he's that good, if he's that good. But fortunately, that's not a question they have to answer really anytime soon.
No, you're right about that. Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, recovering from surgery. Hey, keep on keeping on. Are you going to be good to go for the next time the Colts are at home up in the press box?
Yeah, I did this around, show you how sick I am. I did this back surgery because I needed it. I did it around the bye week so I wouldn't miss too much time. Well, that's, what an idiot. If you need back surgery, you do it. But, I'll probably I'll probably take next week off and then get back at it. But it just shows you how sick I am when I tried to see, well, this back's killing me, but when can I do it so I don't miss much time? So, that's pretty sicko.
All right. this may be the best of Mike Chappell we've heard because he may be just a little bit stoned today. That's all good right there from CBS 4 and Fox 59.
Again, this is the best place to be because you guys are probably just a little bit stoned. or
That's
or
it.
whatever.
I know it. Just join the crowd right here is what you're doing.
There you go.
Playing along.
That's right.
All right, feel better, buddy.
I'll talk to you next week. Thanks.
It's Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. They are not stoned, but they are here. Matt Goins from AAA membership. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing well.
The pride of North Vernon, Indiana.
Oh,
Jennings
really?
County High School. You know that Brent Halverson went to Seymour, right?
No
Seymour
way.
Owl, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
No,
And the
we'll
neck of
fight
the
Woods.
woods.
You guys may be cousins.
No.
Who knows? Jackson and Jennings County cousins right there. Brent Halverson is here as well.
Hello, John.
How are we doing?
Outstanding. Not as
Okay.
good as Mike Chappell, but
He was on cloud nine
I
right
like
there
that,
a little
though.
bit.
He
wasn't
sounded
he?
good. He had
Hey,
some
man,
laughter
yeah.
going. You know,
It was
hey.
all good. I think that
The power of the pill, right?
Well, I had Dennis Quaid on here once. He was promoting the movie about the girl that the surfer that got the shark bite, took her arm. I forget what something blue.
It's Blue Sea or something.
Something like that.
Deep blue or
something
something.
like
Blue, deep
that.
blue.
And
Yeah.
he
Blue
was
Sea.
he was promoting that, and he came on here, and he was stoned out of his mind. We tried to talk about breaking away, and he couldn't recollect it. Yeah, man, on a bike. I never rode a bike before in my life. In Bloomington, riding a bike, and the moocher got on the bike, and it was great. And that's really Soul Surfer. Thank you, Nathaniel, back there. Soul
There's a deep blue sea,
Surfer.
though. Yeah.
Well, there's a deep blue one, I think, with forget it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with it. I
You're
can't
stoned.
come up with it right
It's
now. I'm
another
stoned, too. Like Mike Chappell, I'm stoned as well. All right, we're going to give away some stuff, right, Matt?
Let's
Correct?
do it. Yeah.
What are we giving away? This time of year, AAA memberships are incredibly important. We've been giving along, and Brent can tell you because he utilized it today. Tell him the story.
Firsthand, yeah, I was a little bit though this morning. So always a struggle to get the kids off to school, right? And my oldest Sierra, she's 16. She takes my youngest Sage with her, and those girls trotted off at 8 a.m. And about 8:01, we get a call. Mom, Dad, this thing came up on my screen that says my tire's 1. It's all red, and the other ones are 29. So, well, you have a flat tire. Pull over first off. And luckily, she was a half block down the street, so we hop in a car. We go over there. The screw right in the middle of it, right? So Lisa gets her, takes her to school, takes girls to school. I sit there, and we called AAA. And within 30 minutes, they were there.
That's awesome.
And we don't.
Yeah.
You brought it up. It was so cold this morning.
It was.
Hats off to people doing stuff outside. We weren't. I luckily have the AAA membership because we called, and 30 minutes later they show up, change the tire, get the donut on, drive it to get the tire shop, get a new tire on, and the rest is history. So, I mean, big hats off to you and the team over there, man. Having that membership, there's nothing like it for us. I mean, we've had it for many, many years, and we'll continue for here on for instances like that.
Man,
I knew
certainly
that was a
appreciate
story you'd want to hear. Right
It
there.
is,
There's
and
that.
I love those stories. This week we've heard them all. The batteries on Monday, we had like 1,000 calls.
Oh, wow.
And with the traffic the way it was, the snow coming down, we still about an hour is what we were averaging getting to people on the side of the road. So it was a pretty amazing day.
You keep track of that too, right?
Oh, we
All
look at
that?
it all the time. Yeah.
So I got a question for you. We were talking about this morning. So my wife and I were looking at what happened, right? And she said, I think it was 90 to 90 minutes average or whatever. And we're like, okay, cool. We'll just go back to the house and wait for the call, which is great. They give you a call, give you an update. We had 3 calls pretty much simultaneously back to back, everybody checking on us.
Yep.
And then this guy calls, and he's on the west side. He said, leaving right now, I'll be there in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're like, holy cow, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
How does that get picked up? Is it just go out to a blast of tow truck drivers, of people who can pick it up now, who's closest, who's whatever? How does that work?
We could really geek out on how we do this, but I'm just going to say this. There's a technology platform that we use that tells us who's going to be en route the soonest, and that's where it's dispatched to.
Oh,
So
wow.
Makes sense.
I was curious how that worked. Like, I mean, it's like an Uber, right?
No,
like who's closer around, or
we have about 60 contractor networks that we use as well. Not only our trucks, but and what it is we put them in these triangles, and whoever's the closest at that time, we send them to your car. So.
Well, I tell you, I mean, for the money, which I don't want to tell you this, and I don't want you to raise all the prices, but it is the best little amount of money you can spend to have that safety net waiting when you need it most, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I tell people all the time, and you can spend, the $90 a year for a AAA membership, $50 right now for a gift membership, or free if you win today. But
yes,
that's even better, right?
That's even better. Free.
The average member saves.
Oh,
without using roadside service, 3 times what they spend on a membership. So
easily.
The discounts on hotels and travel and insurance, it just adds up and adds up. So.
Well, I appreciate it. And I can tell you firsthand again today, that was my starting the day, and that always throws a big wrench in the system. But you guys came to save the day, so I appreciate it.
Well, you're one of 66 million members that we have. So.
Well, I feel
growing.
special.
And growing.
And growing. Right. Brent Halverson and Matt Goins right here. All right, we're going to take a break and come back. We want to give away some memberships right here. We got IU floor tickets, correct, from Monday?
I'm going to say lower level.
Lower level. Yeah. That's Minnesota. That's the start of the Big Ten season for IU. That's on Monday at 6:30.
It'll be a great matchup. Parking pass included. So.
Parking pass included. That's not right now, however. We'll do that toward the end of the show because Matt's going to hang around with us. We'll talk a little bit more about other stuff that's going on, including some hoop and obviously the Big Ten title game coming up on Saturday and what things are going to look like in that 12-team playoff. But how about memberships? We've been doing that all week long. So, Nathaniel, we need name and cell and address, all right? How many AAA memberships do you want to do right now?
Let's do 3.
You want to do 3 of them?
Yeah.
All right. 239-1070. Right now, we'll do 3 AAA memberships for a year, absolutely free. 3 of them. Nathaniel, you get them. Again, name, cell, and address. Pass them along to me at the end of the show, and we'll get those proverbial wheels rolling. And then, Matt, toward the end of the show, we'll give away lower-level tickets to IU. How about
Perfect.
that?
That sounds great.
That's Matt right there, AAA membership. And we got Brent Halverson. We'll come back, a little bit more discussion regarding the championship games and locations for me tomorrow and then again on Sunday. Not often am I out on Sunday. This is not quite a live show, but I'll be live there. I believe the girls are going to show up there coming up on Sunday as well. I'll explain where that's going to be. However, right now, 239-1070, 3 AAA memberships, year-long memberships, absolutely free. 239-1070. On the other side, the guys rejoin. Whiskey Business, Southside, Southport Road. Thank you all for joining us. What is a busy Thursday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Southpaw Road. Brent Halverson, betting analyst, Heaven Hill Distilleries here. Hello, Brent.
What a day, huh?
How about that, Matt Goins, AAA membership. What's your official title? You're the vice president of everything?
No, I'm the president and CEO.
Oh, my God. I should show more respect than that. The president and CEO?
Yes, sir.
That is awesome.
For 66 million of us subscribers.
That's awesome right there.
My guy.
400,000 in Central.
Well,
AAA Hoosier. AAA Hoosier.
We're all
The president and CEO of AAA is Matt Goins right here. And let's see if you can identify this incredible voice right here. Hey, give us a 2 for Tuesday, would you, buddy?
2 for Tuesday. We got a secret double shot coming up for you a little bit. Some Leonard Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama up next.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
the legendary Jimmy Mad Dog Matus. You can do Q95 if you want right here because
That's
I
all
love
right,
that.
baby.
I tell all the time, Jimmy Mad
What's up,
Dog
baby?
Matus is
How
here
we
with
doing,
us.
man? You good? Good.
With the Colts, a long time with Q95. He's a local legend. I talk about you all the time. Are you aware?
I was not aware, but I appreciate it. Because I tell everybody now, because, nobody knows who I am anymore, right?
Baloney,
So
man.
I used to tell them, I used to be somebody,
Well-
But now retired and got 4 grandsons.
Yeah. I bring up
living
all the
life.
time how I pattern what I do. You could probably sue me. I pattern what I do after you.
Well,
And being like
you
you.
need to set your goals much higher.
Well,
That's number one.
And being like you, this is what I love doing, and this is what you love doing as well.
I appreciate it, and absolutely. But it's mostly this kind of stuff, right? When you get out and about.
Yeah.
And we used to do bars like the 19th hole in Beach Grove and
Yep.
go in there and play euchre for 4 hours. But yeah, I'm lucky, right? I grew up in Beach Grove, hardly ever been out of this town. My first radio job was Sullivan, Indiana.
It
That
was.
about it.
Was Jerry Baker there when you were there?
No.
In Sullivan? He was long
He
gone by then.
predated me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
So.
was at the same station.
Man,
Absolutely.
it is when we look back at what you were a part of, it is incredible, and it's an era that's never going to be recaptured again.
Well, probably not, and that's unfortunate. But yeah, it was. I mean, we were inventing it as we went, And our general manager, he was great, Chris Weed. He was like McLean Stevenson in MASH.
He was, wasn't
Right?
he?
You got to do anything you want to do as long as you don't get in too much trouble.
And as long as you do your job as well. That's Jimmy Mad Dog Matus with us. So what are you doing out here today? Just going to enjoy some food and
Have a
beverage?
bite to eat and get to a JV basketball game.
Oh, yeah. I was over there I was at JV girls game last Tuesday over there. Laney played for Cinder Grove.
How's she doing? I heard she's doing
She,
well.
she's getting a little bit more clock. She got a little bit more clock at Franklin. They're in Danville, I think, coming up on Saturday afternoon. But yeah, as you know, we're schools that size. It's a battle. The internal
Absolutely
battle.
it is.
The internal battle is something. So, she's going at it hard. That's all I can
Enjoy it
ask.
for what it is, man, because it goes away pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I had 5 sons, went through Roncalli and played every sport pretty much. Football players, wrestlers, golfers,
Yep.
baseball and basketball. So enjoy it while you got it. Now, because the grandkids are young, they're in their 2s.
Yeah,
But they're a hoot.
that's awesome. Got anything? I'm sorry. I thought you were jumping in here, Brent. My bad.
No, I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, first off, welcome. Good to see you, my friend.
Dude, it's good to be here.
loved,
It's quite a surprise. Just walked in, get to bite to eat, and I saw the van out front.
I thought sure you were listening to the show, and that's why you came.
I don't
That's what you're
listen.
supposed to
I
say.
just don't listen to you. That's a lie. You know that?
Oh, man. Legendary.
I was busy all day in the shop. Woodworking is still my hobby, so I do a lot of that. Over at Roncalli, cutting the grass during the summer.
Well,
Something to do.
I will say this all the time. Blake, who graduated from Roncalli in May, that was one of the best decisions I ever made, was to send him there. It's exactly
It
what
worked
he
for
needed.
us,
It was
right?
perfect
You
for
know,
him.
schools are schools.
Yeah.
And but it worked for us. Matter of fact, cutting the grass there now, it was my very first job.
Yeah.
52 years ago, I cut the grass before freshman year to pay my tuition to go there. Yeah.
full circle. You're back again, right?
Back there again.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
You still keep in touch with all the old crew? Everybody?
Oh, yeah, I do.
That's
you know,
awesome.
guys that I played ball with are still my closest friends. Those guys those are my go-to guys.
Absolutely,
right?
gotta have
Don't
those
see
for
them
sure.
all the time, But if there's a problem or a celebration, we get together.
That's the way to do it.
Where are we with the Colts? You spent a lot of time with the Colts as well. How are you feeling about this program right now?
Well, I tell you what, they just in the NFL right now, they still got a legit shot at the playoffs. This next game's the biggest game for them because it is against Denver after the bye week. So if they can go get that win and then continue the maturation of their quarterback, because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, no doubt. It's Jimmy.
But IU football's been incredible.
Not
for
about
me.
that, see.
Because I'm old enough. I was in the stands in '67.
Were you really?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, my dad take us to games when I was 10 years old, basically. So last time we had a team quite this good. There's been some good ones in there mixed in, some holiday bowls and stuff like that. But
few and far between.
This is incredible. It's just incredible. You can't explain it.
It's Jimmy Mad Dog Matus. He is the legend here, obviously with the Colts for a long time. I miss you talking about Duck. This is Dog talking about Duck.
I remember one time we were doing a pregame show, you and I, at the Noodle.
Yes.
And we did predictions every week.
Yeah.
And I picked the Colts every week.
I was thinking the same thing.
And one time JMV says, "Man, you pick the Colts every week." And I said, "Yeah." And last year I was 13-3.
I was just thinking about that,
right?
man. Just literally.
You pick the Colts every time. All right, man. I'm gonna go get a bite to
you got it. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man.
Jimmy Mad Dog made us,
right.
everybody.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is a local legend. I'm completely serious. I have patterned everything I do after that guy right there. That's how spectacular he's been for me. And when I first got in this market, he was, obviously with Bob and Tom and Q95 and just doing what he does. So it's awesome to see him.
Great to see him. It was a pleasant surprise, too, right? I mean, we all everybody listened to Bob and Tom and to hear Jimmy Mad Dog and the crew over there. I mean, outstanding. That's good stuff right there.
You got it. Matt Goins also here. He's the president and CEO of AAA. And you want to give away some IU basketball tickets, too, right now. You want to do so? I'll tell you what, we'll do that. Take a break, come back, because we want to get somebody on here from Whiskey Business as well. So they're lower level tickets. You got 2 of them for Monday against Minnesota, right?
Yep.
We got it. All right. Again, Nathaniel, we need name, cell, and address. 239-1070 right now. IU, Minnesota, Monday, 6:30, I believe, is the tip time, correct?
I believe, yes.
6:30, lower level seats down at Bloomington at Assembly Hall. Number 9 at 239-1070. And that's from our friend Matt Goins, AAA membership. How you guys doing right now?
Oh, fantastic. Actually, I'm trying to help someone on the side of the road.
Are you really? Are you really? That's good.
The job never ends.
Well, hang around with us, too, because we're going to stay until the end of the show. Yeah. That's Matt. That's Brent. I'm John. We'll come back and a little bit more about Whiskey Business, too. It was great to hear from Jimmy Mad Dog Matus a moment ago as well. Alex Golden setting the pace. Mike Chappell, CBS Forum, Fox 59. Busy show tomorrow. I think former Hoosier Matt Surface will join me coming up tomorrow. Slippery Noodle downtown with Chris Hagan and Gina Galeros coming up tomorrow beginning at 3. Quick break, we'll come back. And again, number 9 at 239-1070. You can win those IU tickets for Monday as well. We'll come back with you coming up next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. That's well done. Kevin says, I have Jimmy Mad Dog Matus his old Dr. Dude pinball machine, which is awesome. Jimmy Mad Dog Matus back then. I'm telling you, then and now, honestly, but back then it was awesome. I know he didn't want to do it because it's the old school station, but when he did 2 for Tuesday on Q95, man, that just brightened everybody's day. But it was awesome to hear from Dog. Brent Halverson is here. Matt Goins of AAA is here as well, the CEO and Prez. And Christy is here from
Hi,
Whiskey
guys. How
Business
you
here
doing?
in Southport Road. How are you doing, Christy?
Pretty good. Staying
Macho
busy.
Mike's right there, too, by the way, over your left shoulder.
How you doing, babe?
Mike is in the house. I got you, buddy. Go ahead, Christy. We got a special time going on here, don't we?
We sure do. Yeah, we're definitely busy here down at Whiskey Business Southport. Got a lot going on today other than the radio station. Got lots of specials going on.
Tell us about them.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, we got live trivia going on from 7 to 9. And then tonight, especially, we have Gina coming in at 9 p.m. for karaoke.
Oh, uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Lots of specials throughout the week. Live bands on the weekend on Fridays and Saturdays with no cover. So
That's awesome. Can't beat that right there.
I can do
heck
Devil
no.
Went Down to Georgia like a madman
We got
here.
anything from rock, pop, 80s, you name it.
Now, and Dog does some kind of wonderful. I've seen that, too, before a number of
I
times.
hope you stay till 9 o'clock so we can
He
see
doesn't
that.
need to get karaoke. He just needs, he provides lead vocals right there. So
I'm looking forward to it.
He's all good right there. So go ahead, Brent.
Hey, no, thank you for having us, too. I mean, first and foremost, this place is awesome. I'm a big fan of Jared and Mike. I know
Always,
they're
yeah.
both busy. And with this location, the Pendleton Pike location,
Yep.
and now their newest Smashed in Irvington, which I was telling John, that is one of the greatest new burger joints that I've had
Oh,
in a
yeah.
while.
They have all
so-
kinds of different specialty smash burgers, too. Definitely worth a look to go down and try some out. With
Absolutely.
their waffle fries, can't
yeah.
go wrong.
Oh, you can. I mean, I was blown away when I went in there. And Mike was, I think they just expanded the second half, too, right? Didn't
Yeah.
they just add over there?
Yep.
I mean, it's cool to see what's going on there. And again, what you guys have done here, I thank you for what you do with all Heaven Hill brands and business. And I know all these people do because one of the comments we heard earlier, John, was somebody used to come in here. Oh, it was Harley D.
Oh,
came in.
yeah.
He used to come in here and he said, "Man, it's so nice to come in this place because it's just beautiful now." And
This
it
place.
is. It is.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
It's got you got the TV package. I mean, everything you want to be done is here. TVs, the staff, the food, the drink, and the layout is just
Yeah.
awesome. So we
definitely
appreciate you having
appreciate
us.
having you guys here and bringing all these wonderful people in and supporting
Absolutely.
us. So we definitely appreciate it.
So what's going on this weekend? You got live music, said Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
No cover. There's
Yeah,
never a
no
cover, right?
We
Which is
got
awesome.
Friday night, I believe, is Dirty Vandals, good rock show,
Nice,
and then
okay.
Stella Luna and the Satellites on
Stella
Saturday.
Luna, yeah, nice.
Both of those will start at 10 p.m. And then also Saturday we have TuneBot that starts at 7, which is kind of like a DJ bingo.
Okay.
Good dinner specials, good drink specials going on all weekend long and all week long too. So
Open 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Open every day at 11.
Yep, every day at 11, Sunday through Wednesdays 1 a.m. And then we don't close until 3 a.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Look at that. And Chris Wright's right down the road.
Yeah.
He's in here all the time. He likes to come see us.
For sure, yeah. We welcome everybody.
Oh, we love it. Well, thank you
Always.
for having
Yeah,
us.
not a problem. Thank you
Look
guys
forward
for
to
being
coming
here.
back
Well
This is
soon.
done.
awesome.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Christy.
Thank you guys.
Thank
I
you,
Christy
appreciate
Christy.
is
it.
right
you,
there
Dad.
from
Thank you.
Whiskey Business having us. Matt Goins rejoins from AAA membership, the CEO and president as well. We gave away tickets. We gave away AAA memberships.
Awesome.
Now's the time to do that, too. Explain to folks why.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, with the weather change, you're going to have some battery issues. You always have tire issues. I was explaining earlier, I'm driving home on 65, and the worst thing that you can possibly see at 9 o'clock at night is someone trying to change their tire.
Yeah.
I'm dealing
It's
with
brutal.
I'm dealing with a
Agreed.
member right now that needs a tire change, so it's just never ending, and you don't want to be in this weather. I got Mike here, the 1979, a member since 1979.
Have you really been one? Wow. Well done, Mike. That's Macho Mike right there.
Then we got a dispatcher of the year over here from AAA. I mean, it's just the AAA family is extensive.
And there's 444,000 of us here in Central Indiana.
400,000 people right here in
400,000.
Central
Man,
Indiana.
oh
That's outstanding.
man,
That's good
that
stuff.
is.
Let's build that to 1 million.
Let's
tonight.
do it.
Yeah,
Come on down.
we've been inspired to do that certainly this week. There's no doubt about it.
And I'll tell you firsthand, I mean, and again, from this, not only just this morning, but just as we walked in, I was telling you that story. We use it more than I'd like to,
Yeah.
right? But it one time,
Yeah.
it is paid for.
One time.
One time.
People are
That's
like,
it.
well, what do I need roadside service for? And I'm like, well, it's more than roadside service. There's a lot of value to
Absolutely.
the membership. But I'm going to tell you, we do 210,000 roadside assists a year just in central Indiana.
That is out.
That's incredible.
About 30 million
Yeah.
throughout the country. So roadside assistance is needed.
Wow.
Well, thanks for all you've done for the
amen.
show and being a part of the show and the station and everything, too, and certainly what you're giving away this week. We'll continue that coming up tomorrow when we're live at the Slippery Noodle, but everybody absolutely loves that.
Yeah, no,
they
I
love
appreciate it. I appreciate what you do and what you say about AAA. It just
love it.
The more that we can do and just get this valuable membership in the hands of every Hoosier is really what we want to do. So
That's outstanding.
And we'll give away more stuff. All right, we're going to give away, again, membership coming up tomorrow, and then we'll do more stuff whenever you have it right
I think
there.
God about to turn into me because I'm the one that likes to give away everything.
I know.
So-
Well, I'm telling you what, when we gave away, and we were together on that particular day, we were together on Morse, and we gave away
Tires.
We gave away tires, 4 tires to somebody there with the My Pit Crew experience, and I thought people were going to fight one another for that, man.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah, the amazing thing, you show up somewhere and you tell someone what you do, and everyone wants to pull the card out of their pocket and let you know.
Yeah.
Like Mike, I've been a member since '79.
Yeah.
You know, we have members in the state that have been members for over 50 years.
Yeah.
That tells you something right there.
It's amazing. It's a brand that people love and trust, and I'm so fortunate to be at where I'm at and lead the great people.
How can people call right now and become a member?
Oh, 1-800-GO, AAA-GO would be the best route, yeah.
That's awesome.
I tell you, the best way to do it is just go to AAA.com, and you're going to go in, you're going to get the best deal, which is the gift membership right now. I believe it's $50, and you get an extra associate for free. So.
And I'll tell you right now, anybody out there, do it if you don't have it because it is worth every single penny of it, like he just said. And firsthand today, I was there to live it, love it, and learn it.
Yeah, don't waste your money. Just buy a AAA membership
That's right.
and save it all.
And you know you're protected.
Yes.
You're good.
Yeah.
Thank you for hanging out with us,
Yeah,
man.
appreciate it.
Dude,
Well,
we
thanks
got
for
to do it
having me.
again. Why don't you come anytime, man?
I wish I
This is
could.
kinda what we
This
do.
place is incredible. I've
It
never
is,
been here
man. Yeah,
before.
yeah.
I'm glad we came down. It is absolutely amazing. So
I didn't know I was going to get Jennings County and Jackson County
Look at that,
together all
man.
in one
we
spot
still
right
have
here.
to take care of that
I
outside,
know.
don't we?
I know.
right.
It seems like we need to be doing this on Win 106 WINN, Mount Vernon, Seymour, Columbus.
There you
right
go.
here.
96.3
Vernon, yeah.
WJAA. And
106.1, yes. I think now 106.1's the river down there
the
too.
river.
The river, because you did stuff.
Yeah, I had a little skit on 107.3. It was Get Going with Goins.
Ooh.
Was it?
Oh,
Now
catchy.
what station is that down there? QMix. QMix. See, I
107.3.
remember
Yeah.
QMix too, right
Yeah.
there.
I loved their radio station when I lived down there. It was incredible. You
See,
know.
it's funny. I listen to the river all the time.
Yeah.
I do. Because I think it sounds really good. So it goes 70s and 80s right in my wheelhouse right there. Speaking of wheelhouse, our next Thursday event is going to be?
We're going to be at Manly's Irish Mutt.
Mike Manley, everybody.
Mike Manley, great spot, great place. I mean, we've been there, several times throughout the years, John. Haven't been there to do a Larceny Lock Little Shot Show, I believe. We used to remember we did the ride from the Reds
all the
down
time.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Done several shows down there. So Mike and the crew, we're looking forward to that. So come join us next Thursday, 3 to 6, Manly's Irish Mutt.
That is Mike Manley is one of the
he
great
really
dudes
is, absolutely
of all time
is. He's
right
a
now as
stud,
well.
and looking forward to that. And again, great food, great staff, great atmosphere, right? Just a great place to go and have some fun, and that's what we'll be doing.
Thank you, brother.
Hey,
I
thank you,
appreciate
my
it.
friend.
That's our betting analyst, Brent Holverson, right there. Matt, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tell the other Matt that he completely missed out on today.
Yeah,
Right?
he didn't want to get shown up. So.
Yeah, I know they didn't. I know it. Hey, Macho Mike, good to see you. You got it. Angel sends everybody holiday hugs from Macho
I
Mike.
love it, love it.
Macho Mike
Cheers.
spends a lot of time at Ron Colley over there. Macho Mike, thank you very much. Carl, great job out of you, Carl.
Thank you so
Nathaniel,
much.
back at the studio. Nathaniel, are you with us tomorrow, or is it somebody different? Corbin's coming up tomorrow. I'm going to hang with you. I've got the Colts Daily Update. Is that with the Gorman? Me and the Gorman coming up next for like 15 minutes of the Colts Daily Update. Tomorrow's show, Slippery Noodle with Bud Light. We're downtown. Me, Chris Hagan of Fox 59, and the Queen of Ice Cream tomorrow. Gina Galeros, formerly of Channel 13, is going to join us. Matt Surface, former Hoosier, on the show tomorrow. Mike Wells coming up tomorrow. Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers, coming up tomorrow. Shout out to Brent, to Matt, to Dog, Alex Golden, Mike Chappell. Everybody showing up, man. I love you, Christy. And our friends here at Whiskey Business on the South Side. Coast Daily Updates coming up next. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. Hang out.